Hello, gamers. You're listening to the Short Pause Gaming Podcast. This is episode number 110. Another destiny awaits.
And welcome back to another exciting episode of the Short Pause Gaming Podcast. I'm Ben. That's Frankie. That's Bender. Gentlemen, say hello to the people this evening.
Hello.
Can you see me waving?
We cannot see you waving, and that's because the video version of this podcast is going to be a little bit different this week. Brent, unfortunately, sick this week. He's going to be out. He's got some stuff going on that he's got to deal with as well. So, unable to make the show, kind of a last-minute thing. We're just kind of rolling with the punches here. So, we won't have the normal video version of the podcast where you see our smiling mugs and yucking it up and all that good stuff. You'll see kind of a static image of the podcast. We will splice in video and you know different content that we talk about during the show, so it won't just be that static image for the whole time if you are listening to this on YouTube. So fret not, there will be some video to go along with this. But, if you are listening to us on YouTube, we appreciate it. And next week, the video podcast you've come accustomed to since episode 100 will be back to its full strength. So be on the lookout for that. But this week, just be conscious that this will not be the normal video stream. So, Brent, hope you feel better, buddy. In the meantime, we will hold down the show here. Franklin, talk to me. How you doing this evening, dude?
I'm doing really good. You know what I did this week? This is exciting.
What'd you do?
I finished Zelda.
Oh, it's a long game.
It's a very long game. So
it's quite the feat.
Dude, this is so this year so far. We're now in April, right? So I've done Yakuza 0. That's about 35, 40 hours. Witcher 3 took me about 65 hours. Zelda just shy of 80 hours. So 3 massive games that I probably never would have had time to finish otherwise. I thank Jen because she's on third shift, so I have like an entire week now that I can guilt-free play games. So it's been nice kind of getting to take advantage of that and get through Zelda. That was wonderful. I can't wait to kind of delve more into that for the spoiler cast, which I think we're doing a music episode with JD this week. I hope we are. So that'll be what you guys can look forward to next. But man, that was great. I loved it. Made the Switch purchase totally worth it.
Well, congratulations on your feat in finishing the game.
Mm-hmm.
Bender, Frankie's talking about the spoiler cast. We know episode 3 is out now. So when can we expect episode 4? Is the music episode next? What's on the docket for you guys in the Playing by the High Rules?
As Frankie mentioned, we're going to be doing an episode with JD, a music episode where we talk about some of our favorite tracks from the game. Then after that, we're going to be doing another one, I guess, the following week, where we talk about the next Divine Beast, which is located in Rito Village. So that'll be the next place that we go. And then we've still got, one more Divine Beast after that. And then we're definitely going to be doing an episode talking about our favorite shrines in the game. So that's something you can look forward to as well. And of course, once we all have finished the game, we'll be discussing the final boss battle, all that stuff. So still have several episodes of the spoiler cast to go. So it's definitely been a lot of fun and definitely looking forward to the rest of those episodes and really enjoying the game still. I love that game. It's one of my favorite games I've ever played, I think.
Cool. Good to hear. Yeah, good to hear that there's a few more episodes on the horizon. I know people have been liking the show. I'll eventually listen to it once I play the game. So I'll have that to look forward to in my future then. So awesome, yeah. So keep cranking those out, guys. We'll look forward to that. And once again, that's right here on the Short Pause feed. So wherever you subscribe to Short Pause at, whether it's iTunes, SoundCloud, whatever it is, the Playing by the High Rules episodes will be right within our normal feed here, so you'll be able to catch up on those as you play through the game with the guys here. Frankie, outside of Zelda, what else you been doing this week, man?
Not a whole lot. I hopped on with Bender and Madzu to play Battleborn last night. That's the first time that I've played that game. Man, when was the last time we did a stream? Like January?
It was a while ago.
It's been a while. Like to a point where I forgot like they had changed all the menus and yeah, so that was cool. We got to play that on Xbox, which I don't have. I don't think I've done all the story stuff yet because I had achievements popping for the stuff that we did. So it's cool getting back through there. The thing that's kind of annoying me now is they, since that last update, they unlocked all the characters. So now, we did the mission that you would have gotten Calderia's for completing. I mean, you get like a really cool skin for him for finishing it, but I think like taking away like kind of that carrot at the end of finishing it, like, oh cool, I got a new character for finishing this mission, like that feeling's gone, and that kind of sucks. But outside of that, it was a good time. I didn't stream it. I think Modzu did over on his channel. So if you want to check out that feed, I think his YouTube, just go on YouTube and search for Modzu. It's like a good 2.5 hours of Battleborn missions, so it was a good time. But that's about it.
Cool, awesome. So Bender, no, you've been playing through Zelda when you can as well. What else you been tinkering around with, man?
Well, I've been playing ukulele, but can't talk about it yet. So we'll definitely be some discussion about that on our next episode as the embargo lifts.
So when is the embargo lift?
It's going to be Tuesday the 4th.
Tuesday the 4th.
11 Eastern, I think.
Yeah, 11 a.m. Eastern.
11 a.m. Eastern.
Now, you're obviously reviewing the game for the site. Now, we can also expect your review to go live around that time as well, correct?
Yes, I'll have a full review written up by then. I have yet to finish the game completely, but I will have a full review, all my thoughts and impressions written up by then, so it'll be ready for the embargo. So, Tuesday, 11 a.m. Eastern. We'll put that up on the side, and you can read about my impressions of ukulele.
Awesome. So make sure you come on over to www.shortpause.com. Get Bender's full rundown, the full Monty for everything that he thought in regards to ukulele. So I'm looking forward to reading that, man. It's a game I'm looking forward to myself. I know Frankie's looking forward to it as well. So I'm excited to hear your thoughts on it, man. So outside of ukulele, what can you talk about that you've played, man?
What else have I played? Not a whole lot, I don't think, because I haven't gone back to Andromeda yet, but I definitely want to go back to that.
Yeah,
I still want to go back to Horizon, all that stuff. Other than Battleborn with Frankie and Modzu the other night, last night rather, I don't think I've played much of anything else.
Gotcha. Cool. Yeah, man, it's understandable. You've had your hands full there trying to work on the stuff that you're working on. You're also editing the Playing by the High Rules podcast as well, so good stuff on that, man. As far as myself goes, I don't know, I'm getting a little frustrated at this point because I have so many games I need to play that I haven't been able to get to. Just been really, really swamped with life and work and other stuff. I haven't even cracked open Destiny yet, so I'm itching to get in there and just at least open up the Age of Triumph book and start going through that. I haven't even had a chance to fire that up yet. So what I did do was Tuesday. I almost said Thursday there because that's when the Indie Spotlight used to be. But as we talked about last week, moved the Indie Spotlight to Tuesday starting this past week. What do you guys think about that, by the way? Do you like having the Indie Spotlight on Tuesday? Do you think that's a good time for it? We kind of wanted to get the game out there and display it for people, the day that it comes out, so they can kind of get it in their eyes and ears a little bit quicker than the Thursday Spotlight did. What do you guys think of that? Do you like that change? Do you like us putting it on Tuesday?
I think it's a good idea, especially since those games are coming out that day, and gets it a good some good exposure on the day it comes out. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, that's where I'm at too. There's been a couple of games that I've waited more or less for you to stream to decide if I want to pick it up or not. If it's not on sale for pretty cheap. So
yeah,
it's definitely nicer like being able to come home Tuesday night. I usually miss the stream where I'll be getting home at the tail end of it, so it's nice to get home. I can check out, I usually watch 10-20 minutes of it, make a decision there, go buy it, download it. So it'll be nicer to be able to do that on Tuesday versus later in the week.
Right on, and that's the whole idea behind it. We want to just let people see it sooner so they can make a decision earlier in the week. And by the time you get to the end of the week, things have passed and maybe you've forgotten about the game at that point. So cool. So we'll continue the Indie Spotlight on Tuesdays. So it'll be Tuesdays from here on out. It's gonna be on our YouTube channel as well. So we'll be streaming it live on Short Pause Gaming on YouTube. It'll still be at 10 p.m. Eastern every week. But this past week on the first Tuesday show, we fired up Rain World. Rain World's a very, very interesting game. First of all, it's incredibly beautiful. It's got a really cool art style. It's a very dark and depressing kind of game, but it's got a very kind of unique pixel art look to it. The animation is really cool in it. I like the way Slugcat moves around. The game's like fluid, smooth in motion. So I really like the aesthetic of it. The actual playing of the game is still something I'm trying to wrap my head around. It's a brutally difficult title. It's got some some survival elements to it. You're basically helpless as this kind of cat trying to make your way around this environment and survive. You've got these predators that are moving around. You've got the elements in the form of the rain. You can't withstand the rain at all. When the rain comes down, you will instantly die if you're not in shelter. So there's that you're trying to deal with, and the whole setup of the game is very weird. It's kind of set up like a Metroidvania game, but kind of not. The map is kind of a Metroidvania map, and you've got to kind of figure out how to get from one area to the next. But yeah, you move through these like weird tubes, and these shelters are so few and far between that it's really weird. Once the rain comes down, you die. That's it. If your controller starts shaking and that rain starts coming down, that's it. You're a goner. So the fact that these shelters are so sparse, I only found 2 during my playthrough. Partly because I kept dying, and when you die, you go back to the last shelter you saved at. So there's a lot of progress lost as you die in this game, whether the rain or you make a misstep with one of these predators. So a lot of backtracking, a lot of doing the same stuff that you've been trying to do over and over again. The game is very obtuse. There's this glowing, I don't know, bug or something that kind of tries to direct you where you're supposed to go. And you can follow him or kind of go off on your own. But even what he tells you is very vague. He shows this picture every now and then of where you're supposed to go, or give you a hint as to what this area means. But it never made any sense to me when he showed me that picture. So it's a very just difficult game to ascertain anything that's going on. It's a very difficult game to play right now and to make progress in. So in that respect, it's frustrating, but it is an interesting title. It is a beautiful title. It's one that I'm gonna continue to make my way through. As soon as I can get through it, there will be a review on the website at shortpause.com. Another game I'm reviewing right now, we got kind of hit with these simultaneously, is 88 Heroes. Another game that I'm stuck on because for some reason at level 80, the character that I have is too tall to go through this area, and I can't duck. So he's the only guy I have left, and I can't duck down to get underneath this area. So I'm like, seriously. So gonna try to reach out to the developer on that one, see if we can get some clarity on if I'm just missing the boat on something or if I'm just SOL. So yeah, been kind of a frustrating time with these 2 games. And all I want to do is just kind of wrap those up so I can play Destiny. That's kind of where I'm at right now. Yeah, so hoping the schedule opens up a little bit in the coming weeks here. Got a lot of stuff I want to play and get through. So with that, Franklin, we've got some nice looking new release lists here. Why don't you take us through this, man?
Sure do. So we're going to start with the PlayStation Plus games. Obviously, we're rolling into April, so we got some new freebies coming. So starting with the PlayStation 4 stuff, Drawn to Death. This, of course, David Jaffe's Bartlett Jones Supernatural Detective Agency, possibly the best developer name ever.
This is a great name.
So it's a third-person online shooter. It's kind of got a cartoony, like hand-drawn art style to it. It's really cool. I actually got to play some of this when it was in the limited access beta before. It's a good time. It's got Jaffe's really messed up kind of sense of humor in it. Like I remember there's an alligator that's like it shoots flame balls, and when you go to reload it, you dump a can of gasoline into it, and then you just stuff the gas container into this thing after you're done. So it's pretty ridiculous. It's like I've said, it's definitely a David Jaffe joint. So where are you guys at on that one? I want to jump in there and play that with you guys. I think it's a lot of fun.
Dude, that's where I'm at. I want to know when the Short Pause Drawn to Death stream is, because I really want to play this game too. It looks awesome. Looks like it's a lot of fun. Just hearing Jaffe describe it and talk about it too, it seems like there's a lot of depth to each of the characters and how they interact with each other, different weaknesses and strengths that kind of play off each of the different characters. So it sounds like there's some really cool dynamics in terms of the moment-to-moment gameplay. And I love the aesthetic of this game. I love the whole idea of being in this kid's notepad and kind of living out his fantasies in this crazy arena shooter. And it gives them free reign in terms of imagination. Like, there's no limits to what they can do with this game. It's it's basically what this guy draws. So lots of cool stages that I've been reading about, and super pumped that this is a PS Plus game, man. So I just want to know when we're gonna stream this game this week. That's what I'm ready for.
That's what I'm game. Bender, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I agree. It sounds like it'd be a good time to get in there with you guys and see what this game's all about. So yeah, I'd be down for that for sure, especially if it's a PS Plus game. I think it'll be a good one.
Yeah. Hopefully the PlayStation Plus hug of death doesn't bring the servers down.
How do you guys feel about streaming Drawn to Death either Tuesday night or Thursday night?
Sure, I'd be down for that.
Thursday might be more ideal.
Thursday?
I'm game.
Okay. All right. So preliminarily, we'll put it in pencil. The Drawn to Death stream Thursday night on one of our myriad streaming services that we use, and let's make sure that Felsing's cool with that, and then we'll rock it out. Because I believe 4 players is the max you can roll with in a Drawn to Death match. So I think that'd be fun if we all jumped in there and got down to business on that.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Also coming for the PS4 this month to PlayStation Plus, Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time. This is that co-op space shooter. Ben, I believe you reviewed it for the site. Did a Spotlight.
Did.
Should be excited about this one?
Yes. Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time is an awesome game. And pay specific attention to this one if you have a PlayStation 4 Pro, because while I don't know of any PlayStation 4 Pro enhancements, the game ran just fine on the PS4 regular. The share play enhancements with the Pro are going to make this an even more enjoyable experience to people that play the game that way. It's best experienced cooperatively, even though it's an excellent game single player. But if you get a chance to experience it cooperatively via share play, because it only has local co-op, so if you don't have anybody with you that you can sit down and play on the same TV with, get on share play. Especially if you have a PS4 Pro, you can stream it at 60 frames via share play, and it's a great time. It's a really cool game, really cool art style, great soundtrack, cool boss battles. It's a crazy game about a guy and his dog trying to pilot the spaceship and bring love back to the universe. It really is a great game. I really enjoyed my time with it. Last year was one of the first games we did for the Indie Spotlight, so I had a great time with it. I highly recommend that to anybody that's in the mood for a new quirky game, especially if you can play it cooperatively. It's a great time trying to coordinate the stations in the spaceship with your co-op partner. It's a good bit of fun there. So yeah, highly recommend Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time. Great game.
Awesome. Rolling on here into the PS3 stuff, we have Invisibles: The Lost Kingdom. This one's like a kid that can transform into animals and progress through the levels, like a 3D action adventure game. Alien Rage Extended Edition. This is like a first-person space shooter. Looks kind of like a Doom knockoff. It's got some crazy-looking weapons in it. On the PlayStation Vita, both of these games actually are cross-buy with the PS4, so if you're getting these on the Vita, you can download them on your PS4 as well. 10 Second Ninja X. This is the very difficult puzzle platformer game. You have 10 seconds to clear each level. I believe you streamed this one as well, Ben.
Did. Another great game.
A lot of fun. Difficulty?
Yeah, it is difficult. It's one of those super addictive games where you try to get like 3 stars in the level. Like if you die, you can instantly restart. It's one of those kind of things. So it's very easy to get hooked into that game and try and go through and master each of the levels. It's not insanely difficult in just moving from level to level. You can do that without getting the stars, but you know where the real meat and potatoes of the game comes in is trying to get those like perfect 3-star runs on those levels, and it's fun. It excels on the Vita. It's great on the PS4 as well. So I recommend that one for anybody that's into like those Twitch like fast-paced games like that.
Nice. Lastly here, Curses and Chaos. This is a Tribute Games 2D brawler where you're kind of tasked with fighting a bunch of monsters so that you can brew an elixir to break a curse that was cast on you and your friend, which causes you to be haunted by ghouls and ghosts. So I have that one on my shelf.
Bender's autobiography.
Yes, basically. Yeah. So what do you guys think of this list? Bender, any standouts to you?
Definitely Drawn to Death and Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time are the standouts for me. I never had a chance to pick up Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time, so I'll be happy to pick that up and finally get a chance to check it out.
Mm-hmm. It's a quirky one, Bender. I think you'll like that one.
Cool.
Ben, you excited about this lineup?
Yeah, I think it's a cool lineup. Don't know much about the PS3 games, so not so much those ones. But the Vita and the PS4 games, I've played all these ones, and the ones I haven't, I'm excited about, like Drawn to Death. So, yeah, I think it's a great list. If you have a Vita or PS4, I mean, I think you're in for a good month here.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm really excited about Drawn to Death. Ever since that game got formally announced, playing the beta, like I could not wait for that thing to release. So I cannot wait to hop in there with you guys sometime this week.
Yeah, love me some Jaffe, right?
Hell yeah. So, all right, so let's roll on to the new releases this week. We're going to start with the PlayStation 4 as we usually do. This first game on the list, guys, this one coming in hot. Currently sitting at a 94 on Metacritic. Of course, I'm talking about Persona 5. I've never played any of these games. Didn't even touch Golden on the Vita. I wish Brent was here because I know he's played a fair amount of that game. I know he's really excited about this one. So, Ben, have you ever messed with any of these games?
I haven't, shamefully. I know Persona is widely regarded as one of the great RPG franchises out there, especially JRPG franchises. And, when people started talking about Persona 5 a few weeks back and a few months back, I told Brent, I was like, dude, this thing's got like a 95 Metacritic written all over it, like from what how people are describing this game. And sure enough, like you said, the reviews are coming in hot. Many are heralding this as the greatest JRPG ever created, which is there's some great JRPGs out there, so that's very high praise for this title. And I've just heard so many great things about the Persona franchise over the years, especially with the advent of Persona 4 Golden. But even before that, the Persona games have always been really highly regarded, and it's always been a franchise I wanted to get into. It was one of my New Year's resolutions this year was to play more of these RPG games. So at some point, I would really like to find the time to play through Persona 5 this year, because it sounds like it's an incredible game. And my gosh, man, could there be any more like great games to come out? I mean, we're just now hitting the tip of April here. And especially on PlayStation 4, there's got to be like 7, 8, 9, 10 exclusive games that they have on that platform in the early part of this year that are just like knocking it out of the park. So, congratulations to Atlas on what sounds like it's going to be a very successful game. This game has done gangbusters in Japan. I expect it to do very, very well here, and maybe we'll get that long-awaited Persona 5 Golden for the Vita.
There you go.
We'll have to hold our breath for it. Yeah, I bought the game. I ordered it, so it's coming. I will sit down and play it when I get a chance. Just don't know when that will be. But sounds like this is going to be an awesome game.
Bender, do you have any interest in the Persona franchise?
Possibly. I've never played any of them, but I like RPGs and stuff. So I'll have to check it out and see if it's something I'd be would be willing to play. But I've been hearing a lot of good stuff about it, so it's probably something I might want to look into.
Nice. Love the style of this game too, Frankie.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a super stylish game. It's got like style for days.
Oh yeah, totally. That's like its thing though, right? Like that's all the Persona games are like that.
Yeah. This one especially though, just like the menus and the fonts and like the look of everything this looks super cool.
Yeah. I want to hop into one of these games, but dude, it's like you said, just like staring at things like Horizon, getting through Zelda, Mass Effect. There's just so many games this year that are just ridiculously long already. I don't know where I'm going to find time for this.
Yeah, this is this is on pace to go down as one of the great years in gaming. We may never see a year like this one.
Yeah.
Where you have you got new consoles coming out, you've got not only new consoles, but to have a Zelda and a Mario in the same year, to have all of these, great games in the first quarter of this year, to have Destiny 2 on the horizon, to have Mordor, to have who knows what else is going to come out this fall after E3. But just a phenomenal year in gaming so far.
That is. I'm loving it. I just wish I had more time in the day.
Yeah. You and me both, man. I need about 48 hours in a day.
I can do that, yeah.
Get in some of the stuff I want to do.
All right, so next on the list here, we have the next in the Play Collective release series, Parappa the Rapper Remastered. Boys, I'm going to come back to you yet again. Big Parappa fan. I've never played one of these games, so tell us, why should we be excited for Parappa the Rapper Remastered?
I think you'll like Parappa, man. He's a quirky dude. It's a funny, silly game. It's not a long game. You can sit down and play this in one sitting. It's not going to take you very long. There's only 6 stages to go through. It's basically it's kind of the forefather of the rhythm genre. This is kind of where it started, as far as what I remember. It's the first rhythm type game I remember playing. The songs are infinitely catchy. You'll be singing them long after you finish playing the game. I'm still singing them 20 years after the original game came out. I still remember a lot of the lyrics. The music is awesome. The characters are awesome. The animation's really cool. I think it's gonna look great remastered on the PS4. So these are kind of like timeless designs that are still gonna look good in modern times. I don't know if the gameplay is gonna hold up or be as revolutionary, be the same as it was back in the day. But I'm looking forward to playing it again, man. I was going through the trophy list earlier today. This is a doable platinum. So it's something I feel like I want to do this year. Just trying to grab the platinum in Parappa. It seems like it won't be too bad. But yeah, I really think you guys are gonna like this game if you haven't played it. It's a really kind of unique game, and was kind of a pioneer in its time. I'm really looking forward to playing it again.
Yeah, hopefully it holds up pretty well. I bought 2 because it's got that PS2 classic.
Yeah.
So I haven't played that, of course. But Bender, rhythm game, interested?
Yeah, definitely. It's a game I never played because I never had a PS1. So, yeah, I like rhythm games. I've always liked music-based games. So, I think Parappa the Rapper is something I'm gonna want to check out.
Cool.
I think it's $11.99 if you pre-order it on PlayStation Plus right now. So totally worth that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. That's one of them I was sitting on the fence about, but I got in there right before because they're charging me sales tax now, of course. So I got in there right before. So hopefully I don't get an email sometime on Tuesday like, hey, we had to charge you. Thanks. So rolling on here, of course, as we mentioned before, Drawn to Death coming out this week. Bulletstorm, the full clip edition. This is a Friday release. $60 for this. So don't get me wrong. I love Bulletstorm. It's a great game. It's kind of, it's a first-person shooter that's sort of more about killing people in crazy ways. You have different, guns. You have a slide. You have a whip you can shoot people up into the air with. You have all these different guns that, you could shoot, mines at people. All kinds of crazy stuff. It's a great time. I have a hard time wrapping my mind around $60 for that game today. Adding Duke Nukem to it as well, probably, I don't know. I feel like that devalues the game. I'm not a big Duke Nukem advocate, so $60, you want to go out there and pick up Bulletstorm? Go for it.
Hard to be a Duke Nukem advocate nowadays.
It's not exactly. And then putting him in Bulletstorm also, I don't think he belongs in that world, but whatever.
Frankie, I feel too like maybe Gearbox may have heard your cries because right now I think they're doing it anywhere that you can get the game. But if you pre-order the game, you get it for 15% off. I think it's $49.99 if you pre-order it right now.
Yeah, that's still too much.
And I believe Amazon Prime and the Best Buy discount stack on top of that. So you may be able to get it for a little bit of a better price than $60.
Still too much. $30. I'd pay $30 to play Bulletstorm again. That seems reasonable to me. But continuing on with seemingly overpriced ports, Lego City Undercover, finally free of its Wii U shackles, now coming to seemingly every other platform. This is the Lego, I don't want to say Grand Theft Auto, but the big, grandiose Lego open world action game. So if you didn't get a chance to play it on the Wii U, now you can play it on PS4. I think they added co-op to this. That's the new big feature coming to this game. So you can
sounds right.
Go and cause some Lego shenanigans with your friends. Blackwood Crossing. This game actually looks really cool. This is like a first-person adventure game where you and your brother, but you guys are orphans.
Something like that.
Yeah. So you guys kind of wake up dazed and confused on a train with a mysterious person, and some events unfold that kind of test your guys' relationship. Looks really interesting. I really want to pick this one up. You guys have any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, Frankie, I was looking at this one too, man, and it caught my eye as well. It's like a first-person adventure game. Don't know exactly how it plays, but it seems like it's gonna have an interesting tale to tell. There's that really freaky mouse character that kind of flashes in these trailers, so it's got these darker elements to it, and it seems like it could be a really interesting adventure game. So I'm toying around with firing this one up on the Indie Spotlight this week. We'll see how everything plays out, but I do have a curiosity with this one as well.
Yeah, looking forward to checking that one out this week. Moving on here, we got Plutobi, the Dwarf Planet Tales. This is like a 2D free-scrolling action game. It tells the story of Pluto and how it's setting out to prove how it belongs to be a planet after all. Yay.
It's an awesome story, by the way. It's out to prove that it's no longer a dwarf planet, and it goes and takes on all the other planets in the solar system. It's a crazy sounding game.
Yeah, like every level I think is based on one of the other planets. So
yeah,
awesome. Use Your Words. This is of course one of these party games. It's not by Jackbox, which I seeing this. This looked like a Jackbox game.
Yeah,
it's not Jackbox. So it's a party game though. You and your friends get together on your phones, put funny captions on, subtitle clips or newspaper headlines. Probably a good time.
It looks super fun. Yeah, just watching it in the trailer.
Yeah.
Also, I love that the website they have is useyourwords.lol.
Yeah.
Like that's awesome.
I was just noticing that. I didn't even know that was an extension that you could use for a website.
I had no idea either, but that's freaking awesome that they were able to get that.
That's really cool.
Yeah, the trailer too just screams Jackbox. So I don't know if this is like ex Jackbox dudes or what, but hey. The Inner World. This one actually is available now. This looks like another point-and-click adventure game, kind of similar to Deponia. So if you're into those, check that one out. Air Conflict, Secret Wars Ultimate Edition. This is the latest in the World War II dogfighting games. These tend to fall on the lower end of the Metacritic scale, so buyer beware. Speaking of buyer beware, new Maximum Games published joint, Armageddon, Decks of Destiny. This is a card battle game that has some real-time strategy elements, so $20, Maximum Games.
I mean, they can't possibly mess up the performance on this, right? It's a card building game.
Never question them. So on the DLC front, we got some King of Fighters 14 stuff coming for you guys this week. Rock Howard will be joining the fray this week, who is the main character from the Garu Mark of the Wolves, which we just got a re-release of that back in December. So he'll be coming on Wednesday alongside Whip, Vanessa, and Yamazaki. They're also coming along with the characters, of course. I believe those are paid characters, like they're a DLC pack, I believe. Update 2.0 will be coming to the game, which will introduce some free stages, and every character will be getting rebalanced. So, King of Fighters fans, you guys have something to look forward to this week.
Getting ready for Evo there, eh?
Yeah.
Get rebalanced, get some new characters in there.
That's soon, right? June?
June.
Getting there. Can't wait.
Coming up.
All right, so we got some new PlayStation VR titles this week as well. Mortal Blitz, this is an on-rails VR shooter. Looks pretty chaotic. This other one, I don't know if you guys got a chance to take a look at the trailer here, but Viri VR, this is it's not a game. This is like a nature documentary that puts you within arm's reach of Kenyan wildlife. Boys, what do you think of this? These more experiences rather than games for VR. Like, this looks pretty cool, right?
Yeah, I think this is really, really interesting, man. I watched the trailer for it, and the technology that they were able to use is, I mean, you're basically like right next to these animals out here in their natural habitats. You see how they eat, how they clean themselves, how they interact with their environments, with other animals. It looks really, really cool, man. And as long as it works cool in the headset, it seems like it's going to be an awesome experience to get in there and like get up close with these animals. I'm really, really curious with this one, man. And like you said, I want to see more of this kind of stuff too. I think there's so much that you can do with VR, so I hope they continue to experiment with these alternative experiences. I'd be down to see more of this on PlayStation VR.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I'm excited about for it too. I sent Jen the trailer for this, and she's loves animals, of course, so she wants me to pick it up because she wants to see how that experience is. But like she was like mentioning, like, it'd be really cool, like if somebody, Google somebody did something where you explore these cities, you can kind of go on vacation, but in your in your living room, like stuff like that would be pretty cool. Bender, what do you think about VR and more non-gaming experiences in VR? Is that something you want to see more of?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a really interesting idea. Getting the opportunity to feel like you're getting close to these animals, and because these are animals that you probably would never see in your day-to-day life, especially if you live in the U.S. But yeah, that seems like a cool thing, and I would love if people would make more things like that, where you can visit a city or some sort of exotic location that you would never, that would be more difficult for you to visit normally, otherwise. So I think that'd be really cool. I think there should definitely be more stuff like that.
Yeah, that's kind of stuff I really want to use that headset for. Like, yeah, it's nice for games, but just kind of putting that thing on and just being transported to like a completely different environment, world, anything. I love that about VR, man. It's great.
Dude, what if you could go to like a concert in a VR headset, or I don't know, you go to like E3, you go sit in the audience at the Sony conference or the Microsoft conference, or walk the show floor. Maybe kind of awesome. Virtually play one of the games, if they could kind of do something where you could walk up to a kiosk and play a game through the headset and stuff like that would be awesome too. That'd
be pretty rad.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah. So rolling on here, we're going to get into PS3 stuff here. One lone release this week, shockingly, Persona 5. So,
big one, though.
Yeah, it is. If you still hanging on your PS3, haven't quite jumped into a PlayStation 4 yet, big JRPG fan, Persona 5 is there for you. Coming to the Vita this week, nothing. All right, so let's hop over to the Xbox side of things. Coming to the Xbox One this week, of course, Lego City Undercover, Bulletstorm, Use Your Words, and Blackwood Crossing. Some newer releases, Enter the Gungeon. This is, of course, the Devolver Digital procedurally generated dungeon crawler. Boyce, I believe, yet again, you played this one on the Indie Spotlight.
I did.
Fun time?
About a year ago. It's a fun game. It's a hard game. It's a roguelike game. It's a really, really cool game, though. It's built around the idea that there's all these different kind of guns that are in this dungeon. So you go through, the guns are all randomized. I mean, there's something like 400 different guns or something in this game that you can get access to. And there's some crazy designs and things in here. There's cool boss battles. The aesthetic of the game is nice. It's a really, really good game. It's tough, but if you can buckle down and navigate your way through the roguelike elements, you're gonna have a good time with this one. So Xbox fans are for a treat here.
Nice. And of course that also saw an update recently, so you'll be getting the complete package, I assume.
Yep. It's a Play Anywhere title too, so PC
nice.
and Xbox, and it's cross-buy, cross-play, all that stuff. So
wonderful. I love. I don't play on PC, but having that option probably pretty awesome for people who are also gaming on PC. So
yeah.
This one actually looks really cool too. Talent not included. This is it's like a 2D platformer. It has like it's set on a stage.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're going to a play stage. Like it's pretty cool looking. They're boasting lots of jumps, fire, and bosses that earn their name. So
the trailer is hilarious for this game.
Oh yeah, it like sets up this thing, and then that has nothing to do with this, and it shows the game. It looks pretty cool.
It takes kind of the. It looks like it takes the concept of like puppeteer, and transports it into like a 2D like action platformer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks good, man. I like it. I like what I've seen of it.
Then on the DLC front this week, those of you who have the Dead Rising 4 Season Pass or want to buy more Dead Rising 4 content, Frank Rising comes out this week. This is, of course, the one where Frank is infected and turning quickly, so he needs to find a cure. And Dead Rising, get to pick that one up. So let's hop over to Nintendo. I'm going to talk about some Switch stuff. So what we missed last week, Arcade Archives, the Neo Geo Metal Slug release. Good to see those games coming over there. And coming this week, Lego City Undercover. Quick note here, actually. So if you're going to pick this game up at retail, there's a little online required message on the front of the box, and it tells you that you need 13 gigs of free space. WB, IGN had reached out to WB, and WB is saying that is a misprint. There's a small content patch that you can download, but otherwise, Switch owners just pop the cartridge in, and the entire game is there. You're good to go. You don't need to worry about a 13 gigabyte download or anything, so that's good.
A little tizzy on the internet this week when that picture came out, and everybody was like, "What is going on here?" It's, they thought that only part of the game was on the card, and you had to download the rest of it, or all kinds of theories were going around. But thankfully, like you said, just turned out to be much ado about nothing, and the game's on the cart. Go buy it, put it in your Switch, and go have fun.
Also coming to the Switch this week that we know about now, Graceful Explosion Machine. This is a $12.99 kind of colorful space shooter.
This looks like something up my alley. It looks like
a.
It
looks like We Are Doomed. Did you ever get a chance to play that?
I didn't get to play We Are Doomed. It does have a little bit of Resogun in it though. It's moving back and forth, moving up and down. It's got that Defender feel to it. It has almost a like a pixel junk art style to it. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't look anything like Resogun, but it looks to have some of the mechanics of it. I don't know that it'll be as good as Resogun. Obviously, one of the great games this generation. But Graceful Explosion Machine looks pretty cool though. I'd be interested in checking this one out.
I always get wary about these space shooters because if the controls aren't like nailed, like it's not a good time.
Yeah, I don't know anything about this developer. I'm not familiar with them. I don't know if this is their first game or not, but from what I've seen, it looks like it has potential. So there's that at least.
It's true. So moving over to the Wii U, what we missed last week, Pikmin 2 got a Wii Virtual Console re-release, $19.99. Man, I want to play the GameCube version of this. Like, I understand the appeal of playing this game with the Wiimotes and getting to fling your Pikmin, but I don't want to be flinging Pikmin around. I just want a controller.
We don't fling them with the Wii remote. You just point. You use the Wii remote to just point to move your cursor around.
I don't care. I just want to press a button.
Sure, it'd be nice to hear about the Virtual Console on the Switch.
Right. Man, I want the GameCube
thing
to be a thing. Maybe E3, right? Maybe.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Sounds like an E3 announcement. At this point.
Yeah. Damn. What else we miss here? Miko Mole. This is a $5 stealth action game. Looks kind of strange. This week, coming to the Wii U that we know about, Animal Gods. This is a Thursday release for $12.80. This is an illustrated top-down action adventure game.
$12.80.
$12.80. The trailer is dated for 2015. So here we are, 2017, right on time.
I think it was a Kickstarter game, and I feel bad for this game because it actually looks rad. Like it looks like Hyper Light Drifter, honestly. Mm-hmm. It looks exactly like that. It's got some Zelda elements to it as well, the top-down Zelda. So it looks like it could be a cool game. Hopefully it's out on more platforms than just the Wii U. It's just going to go to die on the eShop there, but it looks like it actually could be a really cool game.
Yeah, I know they're releasing on PC, Mac, and Linux as well, but
okay. So.
That bums me out because I know a lot of the Kickstarters that had Wii U goals have canceled and moved up to Switch, so that kind of sucks this didn't go that route. But if you have a Wii U, give it a chance, I guess.
Definitely.
Over on the 3DS side of the fence, what we missed last week, Kung Fu Fight, a $1.99 Kung Fu fighting game. Yeah, wahoo. Brave Dungeon, a $5 RPG dungeon crawler. Awesome. And then a demo for Mercenary Saga 3. This game is on sale right now for $4.79. I don't know if that price is going to be good when you listen to this or not, but it's a tactical RPG. It came out last December, so try it out, like it, pick it up while it's on sale. As far as this week coming to 3DS, Pinball Breakout. This is a $7 release on Thursday that combines pinball with the classic Breakout brick-breaking game that we all know and love.
I believe this is officially the 432nd Breakout clone on the eShop. So congratulations to Pinball Breakout.
I'd actually kind of want to check this out. Pinball Breakout. I love both of those things, but yeah. Well. And lastly on the list here, Dragon Sinker: Descendants of Legend. This is a $9.99 fantasy RPG, so fantasy RPG fans, you guys have a lot stuck up on this week. It's going to do it for the new releases.
Thank you, Franklin, for taking us through that. Now, fellas, we are going to move into the news. And, of course, we're going to talk about something that we've been waiting to talk about for a very long time here. It's finally officially a thing. Destiny 2, fellas. We had a really interesting week from Bungie here. So early on in the week, Bungie tweets out a logo of Destiny 2, and we're all like, "Oh boy, this is happening. This is like it's about to go down." The next day or the day after, they tweet out a teaser, which is Cade 6, which is an awesome teaser, by the way. And Cade 6, he's at some bar drinking whatever his race drinks. His robotic race, drinking at the bar, telling this other what do they call those things? Like the cleaner bots, the janitor bots that are around the tower.
Yeah.
So he's talking to one of them, just telling them the story of how he was shooting up these cabal when they were invading the city. So we get the teaser for it. At the end of the teaser, they're like, bam, Destiny 2 worldwide or world premiere March 30th. 2 p.m. Eastern, and we're all like, oh my gosh, this is actually happening. So lo and behold, I cleared off my schedule. I made sure I was locked away in my office at work on Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern. I sat down, I was ready. They released the trailer, bam. We get our first official trailer for Destiny 2. It officially confirms the September 8th release date that leaked last week. So we know that that's a thing. Beta access coming this summer to those. It sounds like first to those that pre-order the game. And later probably to everyone else. So we know that this is a thing. We see the trailer. We get our first little bits of the storyline for the game. Fellas, let's talk about this here. Bender, let me go to you first. Destiny 2. Just let me get your overall impressions of what you saw in the trailer. It's not a super long trailer. It's a couple minutes long. But get our first taste of the story and what to expect from Destiny. Talk to me about this trailer, man.
It was a really cool trailer. I really like Cade 6. I like that they used him to for some humor, both in the teaser and in the trailer. Mm-hmm. He was really cool. Love Nathan Fillion. But yeah, there's I don't know. It's really cool. I just saw a lot of cool scenes of these cabal attacking the city and blowing up the vaults and everything in the tower and they blew up all your stuff, so seems like it's going to be kind of a restart from the beginning, which is kind of what we expected, I'm sure. So you're going to have to kind of start from scratch as with all your stuff and everything. But it looked really cool, really exciting. I was really wishing I could have. It left me wanting more information, because the trailer, the reveal trailer, didn't tell us anything substantial that we didn't know from the teaser. Mm-hmm. But still, it was still really cool to see. I really can't wait to see that gameplay reveal when they do that. What's that in May or something?
Yeah, May.
Yep, May 18th will be the official gameplay reveal of the game.
Yeah, I'm going to be counting down the days until that they show that, because I really want to see what the game's going to look like and what the basic story is going to be about and all that stuff. I mean, where are we going to be? I mean, if we're not going to be in the tower, where are we going to be based out of? What sort of places are we going to explore? Mm-hmm. All these questions that come up, based on what we saw, but it was a real cool trailer. I liked it a lot, and I just can't wait. I'm really, really excited about this game.
Yes, as am I, Bender. So the gameplay reveal coming May 18th, and it's coming as a live stream, which I think is cool. So this is not going to be a trailer release of gameplay. This is going to be Bungie sitting down and giving us a live stream of this game. Don't know how long it's going to be. Typically, when they do these live streams, though, they're about an hour long. So I usually like when Bungie does their live streams. Usually a good time. They're enjoyable to watch. So I'm really, really looking forward to that as well, man. Can't wait to see our first taste of this game in action. Franklin, talk to me about this trailer, dude. So Destiny 2, it's out in the open there. We know a little bit about the story now. Talk to me, man. What are you feeling?
Like Bender had mentioned, I'm really glad that they kind of honed in on Nathan Fillion and Cade Six's kind of, goofy sense of humor. I hope it's kind of like, foretelling of the quality of the story that's going to be coming around this time. Kind of relying more on the actual, Vanguard and, interactions with them, kind of playing along with the story. So that would be nice. I also thought it was great that this is obviously going to be focusing on the Cabal. I kind of wanted to see them. There was something that happened in the Taken King storyline that, this transmission to the Cabal. Spoiler if you haven't played it by now, you're crazy. I really hope that they kind of explain some of that stuff.
This is basically picks up that story thread, right? And this is basically looks like this is just the result of that.
Yeah, it has to be. And so I hope that they kind of call back that some way so that those who maybe missed it, didn't think that anything in there would actually be a story thread coming forward. I do hope that that kind of comes through. But yeah, it's exciting. Obviously, you hear all the stuff in there you want to hear. There's going to be a ton of loot, so hell yeah. I can't wait though. I worry about what Destiny does because it's a time vampire. It's that game that we get in here and start playing, and next thing we know, it's 4 a.m. You gotta get up for work in 3 hours. So that's always dangerous territory, but I still feel that Destiny has been well worth the well over 400 hours I've invested in that game. There hasn't been a game like that for me, like ever. I've never played a game obsessively like that before, and it was a great time. I can't wait for Destiny 2. Can't wait to get in here like you and check out the Age of Triumph stuff that's going on right now in Destiny 1. And it was like I had goosebumps after that trailer was done. I was excited. Missed out on pre-ordering the sweet collector's edition on GameStop, so I'm waiting for Amazon to list theirs. Hopefully I'm able to get one. But did get my beta code, here. So
yeah, dude, I wanted to ask you about that too. Did Amazon just not put it up yet, or did I miss it?
They didn't put it up yet. It's a limited quantities thing, so they were doing email notifications for it, but I assume they're just going to announce when it's going to be out, and hopefully you'll get one.
Okay. Cause I was worried I missed it, because I didn't do the GameStop one either, so I was waiting for it to show up on either Best Buy or Amazon, so I could pre-order it on there. And I saw some news story out there that said they were sold out, so I thought that I had maybe just missed the boat, but I have like these notifications on my phone. I have everything set up so that when this thing goes live, like I'm gonna know about it. And I did not see anything saying that this thing was live, so I'm still waiting on that one as well. Yeah, but I'm with you guys. Thought the trailer was rad. Really, I really just can't wait for this game. Time vampire. Like I don't even give a shit with this game, man. It's just like, just give me this game. Let me stay up till 4 a.m. and play this like all fall long. That sounds like a good time to me. Destiny was a polarizing game for many people, but to those of us that were able to get in there and were able to get in there with a crew and explore this game to its fullest potential and do the raids and all that stuff, you'd be hard pressed to find anybody that didn't enjoy their time with this game, that had that kind of experience. It's like you mentioned, Frankie, Destiny's been a one-of-a-kind experience for me. I don't want to just wax poetic about this forever, because we've beaten this to death on this show. But I've never played anything before or since like the raids in this game. It's really a unique experience in gaming, and I can't wait to do that stuff again with Destiny 2. Let me ask you guys this though: what do you think about the tone of the trailer? So we have it was basically cut into two sections. So you have Zavala giving a more a serious speech, and we saw some of our old favorites in here. So Zavala, Cade, Ikora, they're all in here. So fighting against the Cabal. So we saw Zavala giving this kind of rah-rah, like Independence Day speech to the remaining Guardians that are there in the city, and this is juxtaposed against Cade, who is being his silly self, giving his version of a rah-rah speech to the Guardians that he's speaking to. So Bender, what do you think about the tone of this, man? And does this tell us anything about what we might see from the actual game? A similar tone could be found in the teaser that led up to this as well.
I liked it. I liked the humor in both the teaser and the trailer. I thought it was really cool. Kind of made me wonder what the story is going to be about. Is like, I mean, if the Zavala is somewhere and then Cade is somewhere else, I mean, are you going to be starting in different areas depending on which class you choose, maybe, or I don't know. But thought that was really interesting to think about. But I mean, he was hilarious. Cade, he was, you know, Gary or Gil or something with a G.
He was magnificent.
Yeah, he was awesome. And this is just some of the stuff he says. He's like, they took all our stuff, your stuff, my stuff, most importantly, my stuff. Yeah, it was hilarious. So I really hope they kind of lean into that and give Cade some more screen time and show a little bit more of the interaction between the Vanguard leaders and all that stuff. I think that'd be really cool. I'd love to see some new characters and have a really cool story to explore. So yeah, whatever they decide to do, I'm sure it's going to be cool. I'm really looking forward to it, and I really liked the trailers. I thought they were really good.
Yeah. Now, Frankie, what I want from Destiny, I want the tone of Destiny to be almost like Star Wars. Now, I want there to be like a serious story going on, but I don't want them to be afraid of levity, be afraid to inject moments of comedy and that kind of stuff. I don't want the game to be overly dark. I want it to be this like sci-fi romp, this sci-fi epic that just has a really fun vibe to it, and that's kind of what we got from the trailer, I feel like. And if they can take that tone and implement it into the game and put together the kind of story that Bungie's capable of, I think we're going to see a marked improvement in Destiny 2 from a narrative perspective. What do you think about what you saw from the trailer and the tone of it, man?
Yeah, it actually, like I had mentioned, it kind of harkened back to the Taken King for me. Just the way that expansion played, it was obvious that Bungie understood that people want more story. Like the base story in vanilla Destiny without any expansions was forgettable. Like I couldn't tell you anything about it, but playing through the Taken King, like the involvement of, you have all the different Vanguards talking. You have Eris in there like screaming, and you got Zavala just being like, "Thanks for that, Eris." Like, just the banter between them. Like, if that's what we have to look forward to, like I love it. Like, you have like the serious stuff going on with the comic relief coming from Cade. Either before or after. Like it feels like it's perfectly balanced like there. And if they learned when they were doing that, like how they want to tell the story of Destiny 2. I would be totally okay with that. Like that level of storytelling for me works for Destiny perfectly.
Yeah. And they have just an incredible cast of voice actors in this game now. And everybody that does the Vanguards, obviously Nolan North is Ghost. And just Fillion is in his element as Cade 6. He obviously enjoys playing that character. So, and worth noting too that Luke Smith is the creative director on this game. He was obviously responsible for the Taken King. So it seems like he's bringing that same kind of vibe into Destiny 2 as he spearheads this one moving forward here. But they heard everything about what we had to say about Destiny 1 in terms of the narrative, and I'd be shocked if they didn't take that to heart with the sequel and put together a narrative that far surpasses anything that we saw in the original Destiny. And I can't wait to see what they do with it and where they go with it. Let's talk about some of the story beats we saw in the trailer, though. So, you guys mentioned Gary or Gaul, as he's known, and this guy's, I guess, like the Emperor of the Cabal. We saw him kind of briefly flash. He looks like he was coming out of some type of a Cabal spaceship or something, and yeah, he looked like just a beast. So we can expect to to encounter him either at the end of a story mission, more likely at the end of one of Destiny 2's raids. I would anticipate him being one of the big baddies at the end there. So, and we see the last city in shambles. You know, the whole city is being invaded by the Cabal. It's being destroyed. We saw the Traveler getting wrecked as well. There was some damage to the Traveler. We saw the tower getting destroyed. And I like what you said there too, Bender, and I like that they put that in there where your loot was getting just eviscerated. So it kind of worked into the story why you don't have any of your gear anymore, and you've got to go out and earn new stuff. I thought that was just a clever kind of throwback to Destiny 1 there. So they worked it into the story why we're not going to have any of our old gear. We saw the rumored Red Legion briefly in that trailer, just these hulking dudes with these double cleavers like breaking through the wall. We saw Ikora trying to take one on with a shotgun. Those dudes look massive. We saw that like a beast or like a dog type of a character that appears to be a new type of Cabal enemy in there. So Bender, what do you think about all the story stuff that we saw in there, man? What do you think about this idea of the last city being attacked and the Guardians just kind of being dispersed and where do you think it goes from here? Like do you think we're gonna actually be in the last city? Like, do you think we're gonna be down there? Now, often we would stand there in the tower and look down there and be like, man, it sure would be cool to be down there and see what all that's about. So, do you think we're actually gonna be down there in the city now, trying to kind of make our way through it, or what do you think about that? And what do you think about every all the story beats we saw in the trailer?
I hope that we do get to see the city and get to kind of explore it. Because I mean, if the tower's destroyed, the Guardians are going to have to find some other sort of home base. So I hope they do have some sort of area of the city that you can actually see and explore. I think that'd be really cool. It sounds like we're going to be exploring some new areas within our solar system. I'm not sure exactly what they mean by that, but we'll have to wait and see. Maybe we'll be going to the same planets, but different areas of the same planets. I mean, that'd be interesting. There's a lot of different places on Earth that they could show us that we haven't seen before. So a lot of varied places on this planet even. I can't imagine that we'd be going to any of the outer planets of our solar system unless they worked it into the story to make it make sense, because if you know anything about those planets, they're all made of gas, so they're not solid. So Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune none of them are solid. So I can't imagine we'd be exploring those planets, but you never know. Maybe they could work it into the lore somehow. That'd be interesting. Maybe we get to see Mercury a little more, possibly. I mean, that'd be interesting. That's one planet that we've seen very little of. I'm not sure, but I do like that they're kind of leaning into the whole, like we already talked about, like Frankie talked about, the whole Cade 6 thing and having more personality in the story. Because I mean, when you think about the vanilla Destiny, Nathan Fillion has been the voice of Cade 6 since the beginning, but he was like criminally underutilized in vanilla Destiny.
Dude, I didn't even know he was in the game until the Taken King.
For the longest time, I knew it before the Taken King, but it was like for the longest time I would play that game and had no idea. And then one of the times I was like loading into one of the strikes and I heard him reading off his little description of the strike. I was like, that sounds like Nathan Fillion. and he's just like reading it very dry and flat, and like I'm like, dude, I mean, they need to use him for something else. But then when the Taken King came out, I was so happy to see him like being Nathan Fillion, doing what he does best, because like he's so good at playing that whole like cocky, badass type of character. He's been doing it since Firefly when he was Malcolm Reynolds. I mean, Cade 6 is basically that same type of character. So I mean, that's what he does best. I'm glad they're letting him do his thing. And then you have Lance Reddick as Zavala doing what he does best, and in that sort of character that he always plays. So I like that they're letting the actors really spread their wings and really act instead of just reading lines. Yeah. So I'll be interested in see what sort of story beats they come up with and how big of a role your Guardian is going to play. I mean, is your Guardian going to have more lines than just a couple of lines here or there, like in the vanilla game. I don't know. So we'll have to wait and see. But I'm really looking forward to seeing what they show us.
Yeah, Frankie. So what do you think about that, man? What do you think of what we've seen from like Gaul and the Red Legion? What do you think about this idea of the Cabal attacking the city? What do you think? And we saw in the trailer too. You know, we saw all the Guardians with their helmets off and kind of expressing themselves as characters in the trailer. We see that in the box art as well, in the promotional materials for this game. We see them, and we talked about this a little bit on the last show, but I feel like them trying to express a more personal Guardian in this game than what we got in the first Destiny. So, what do you think about that? What do you think about the story beats that we've seen in the trailer? Where do you think they're going to go from here, man?
As far as the story beats go, I'm excited to play this. The Cabal, you know, that's the one race that seemed to be like criminally underutilized. Like we didn't get to have a lot of content based around them. They kind of showed up closer to the end of the story, so like we don't know a whole lot about them. So getting to kind of understand more of the Cabal, you know, obviously you mentioned we have different forms of Cabal enemies to face this time around, so I can't wait to get in there. I want to understand more about like their motive for bringing this fight to the Guardians, you know, the Red Legion like you mentioned. I don't know a whole lot about them, so there's a lot here that I am genuinely curious about. And it just, the thing with Vanilla Destiny was that the world around you was so rich with things that you want to know more about them. So I feel like Bungie has done a really great job of kind of establishing interest in the, like, you know, finding out about all this stuff. So I hope that, you know, like I've said, they do a better time this time around kind of explaining it to you. I don't want to be doing the Grimoire card thing where I'm reading stuff online that should have been in the game. I hope all of that is contained this time. But I cannot wait to get in here and play this game. Like, I just feel like, you know, you see like everything being destroyed, everything falling apart. Like I feel like it's a metaphor, really, right? Like, I mean, everything that you've done in the first Destiny game, it was kind of this learning experience. A lot of, you know, us coming together as Short Pause. Like we kind of all bonded over that game, and it was awesome. All that's destroyed, so now Destiny 2 is coming along. It's a new beginning. Everything that you had before is gone, and you're starting anew. Like I can't wait. Like, that adventure was fun, and I feel like this time coming around to it, like I feel like there's actually stakes in this game. Like, the story's gonna matter, and like I feel like they've learned a lot making the first game, doing all the DLC. They know what their fans want, I hope. So I'm excited. Like, at this, you know, we know we're getting 2 expansions. I hope, you know, these 2 expansions are kind of up on par with, you know, Rise of Iron and The Taken King. You know, like I enjoyed House of Wolves and is it The Dark Below? It's The Dark Below, right? I always mix the name of that up, but I hope that these new expansions are more substantial than those were. I mean, House of Wolves ultimately for me was probably like the best Destiny expansion, because that gave us
the Prison of Elders.
Prison of Elders. Thank you. It's been too long. But yeah, I can't wait for more Destiny. I do. I hope that they just completely knock this one out of the park this time.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, the Prison of Elders is another thing they revamped for Age of Triumph. We can go back in there and get rewards for doing it.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, love me some Prison. Yeah, I think that's a good point there, Franklin. You mentioned this kind of like allegorical crumbling of the original Destiny to kind of pave the way for Destiny 2. Yeah, and that's what, by all accounts, what we're gonna get from this one here. You know, for those of us that have been there since day one, we're gonna have some rewards. We're gonna be able to carry our characters over in appearance only. But other than that, the whole entire game is being reworked. New systems, new engines, all that kind of stuff is going to make for we hope, a bigger and better Destiny experience, and just continue to build on the foundation that they laid with the first game. So I can't wait to see that. And you mentioned it too there, dude. The lore and the universe that Bungie has created, like this is a really interesting, really excellent sci-fi universe. And there's so much that they can do with it. They've done a great job in building this universe. Now they need to do a great job in telling us stories within this universe. So I can't wait to see. We know that they can tell a good story. We've seen it with Halo. We know that they have the chops to do this kind of stuff. So I really hope that Luke Smith and his team knocks it out of the park, and I have a feeling that they will with Destiny 2. Do you guys think we're gonna see some new alien races in this one?
Totally.
Ooh, I hope so.
Totally, right?
Totally.
Like we know that the Cabal is gonna be the central focus, but this is gonna expand beyond there, right? Like this is gonna get even more epic, kind of like we saw with the first Destiny. You know, it was centered around the Vex, but there was all this other stuff going on with the Hive and whatnot. And so, do you think that we're going to see new races, and do you think we're going to see the old ones? Like, are the Hive going to return? Are the Vex going to be there? Are the Fallen going to be there? You know, these guys that we've done a lot with in the first Destiny, or do they kind of let those guys rest? What do you think?
I could see them still being there, but I would be okay if they weren't, in favor of new races.
Okay.
I think it'd be cool to face some new enemies and everything, especially the Hive. We've done so much with the Hive. I would be okay if they just kind of set them aside and come up with something new. I'm also wondering if we're going to have new like subclasses, like new power sets and stuff.
We have to, right?
Oh yeah.
I would think so. So I'll be really interested in seeing what those turn out to be too.
Yeah. I mean, and we talked about it in the past, maybe like an ice class or I don't know, like a poison class or something like that they could build stuff around. I mean, there's so many different things they could do. Wind. I mean, who knows? They could take any element they wanted to and make a class
Captain
out
Planet.
of it. Yeah.
Heart.
Heart. Captain Planet. He's a hero. Yeah. What do you think, Frankie? We gonna see all that stuff, man? New races, old races.
I think so. I think I totally would expect to see some new ones. Like Bender, I do kind of hope we do away with like the Hive. Actually, honestly, I would like to face more Vex. I really like facing the Vex. Like they were probably my favorite to plow through. So because they were kind of a different approach, like it wasn't, oh yeah, just shoot them in the head and they explode. It's all satisfying. But these guys, it was okay. Well, they have
aim for the juice box.
Aim for the juice box.
the classic bounty. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
and we haven't seen much of the Vex since like they were the main adversary in the primary game. But after that, they never got an expansion. Like we dealt primarily with the Fallen and the Hive from henceforth, and we didn't see much of them after that. So they're extremely powerful. They have time traveling abilities. There's lots of cool stuff that they can do. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them floating around there still.
Oh yeah, totally. In some form.
And and there was, there was rumors for a long time. I think it was at that one of those Destiny presentations that leaked, but I believe a Vex DLC was in one of those presentations at some point. So I think they have plans for them that they haven't got around to, and I don't think there's any way we've seen the last of the Vex. Now, you guys mentioned the Hive, and even though we've done a lot with the Hive, I feel like there's still a really interesting storyline that goes on with the Hive. Like we now have this power vacuum with Oryx being defeated. So now Crota and Oryx are both gone, and the Hive is without leadership. So now we have a struggle, and it's kind of hinted at in the Darkblade strike. But this idea of somebody else stepping in to kind of assume control of the Hive. So I feel like at some point they could revisit this storyline, and there's a cool story there about somebody trying to assume the Hive throne and all of the kind of political stuff that goes into that faction and how they operate. So I'd be interested to see that. But yeah, it just goes back to what we talked about, with like this really interesting world that they've created, though.
They did a similar thing with Skolas, right? Like that's when they did, because the other new strike was, Skolas is gone, and you have all these different. Like that's the one thing I do like about the Fallen is they have all these different like house factions. So you have all these different, it kind of reminds me of in a way like Yakuza. Like you have one family, but you have like all these different subfamilies in there, all of them trying to like be like the top person. So I assume there's got to be far more that they could do, with the Fallen. So I would be alright with that too.
Yeah. And that was Skolas' thing, right? He was trying to unite all these houses and like bring the Fallen together in like the super house that he could control and kind of run things from there. So there's interesting ways that all the different factions operate. The other thing that we've heard is that there's long been talk that we haven't seen the last of the Queen. the Awoken Queen, who we last saw leading an onslaught against Oryx, and the fleet just got destroyed as he slammed his sword down, or whatever, and just eviscerated the Awoken fleet. So there's still some stuff to come with her as well, I do believe. But yeah, so much cool stuff that could be coming down the pipe here. I can't wait to see where it goes from here. And yeah, we definitely were getting new powers and new enemies and all kinds of stuff, man. Can't wait to see that stuff.
Do you guys think
go
we'll
ahead.
get some actual new classes, like outside of the Titan Hunter and Warlock?
That'd be cool. Be
Yeah.
interesting.
Maybe like this story has you like kind of seeking out another Vanguard or something, like to introduce a new class.
That could very well be possible, and I wonder if maybe this first expansion maybe alludes to that. Now, the Destiny 2 Collector's Edition has been revealed as well. It went up for pre-order on GameStop, sold out very quickly, like we mentioned earlier in the show. And in this Collector's Edition, they mentioned that you're going to get access to the expansion pass. Now, with the image of the expansion pass, they show us symbols of the first two passes. And on that first expansion pass there, for the first expansion, they have the emblem for Osiris on there, if you notice it. So the emblem that they use for the Trials of Osiris. And if you've been following Destiny at all, if you're a Destiny nerd, if you've been following the history of this game, Osiris originally, in the original version of this game, had a very prominent role in the story. So he was one of the main characters, and you did a lot of stuff with him. Eventually, he was scrapped. We've not fully scrapped, but his portion was taken out when they retweaked the story prior to Destiny 1's release. We've seen Osiris show up with the Trials of Osiris, so his character hasn't shown up, but his name is there. And we know he kind of sponsors this Crucible match that they do every week. So we know that he's out there in this universe, that he has a place. So it seems like with this first expansion, we might finally get Osiris' story. At least that would be my take from seeing his emblem on the expansion there. So maybe something like that, Frankie. Maybe they seek out Osiris, and maybe that's where we see our next Destiny Vanguard class come in, when you meet Osiris. Or maybe we meet Osiris in the main game, and then this expansion pass maybe tells more of his story after that. It's maybe an Osiris focused kind of story beat. The other expansion pass we see, the other emblem, is of the Warmind. So might we finally find out more about Rasputin and getting his history and what exactly these Warminds are, and learn more about that. So just from those two emblems there, we can get an idea of maybe what we'll see in these first two expansion passes. As far as the other stuff that's in the Collector's Edition, there's, of course, a Steelbook case. The expansion pass is in there. There's a Frontier bag, a 15-inch laptop tablet sleeve, a Frontier kit featuring a solar panel USB charger with built-in light, paracord, and a solar blanket, a booklet with secrets into the Cabal Empire, a Cabal schematic, collectible postcard images, Cabal military pawns, legendary sword, legendary player emote, and Cabal Empire-themed emblem. There's also an exclusive GameStop limited edition, which retails for that collector's edition a pretty $250 for that thing. Whew. The limited edition of Destiny is $100. It's exclusive to GameStop. It includes the Steelbook case, the expansion pass, the booklet with the secrets to the Cabal Empire, the Cabal schematic, the collectible postcard images, the Cabal military pawns, the legendary sword, the legendary player emote, and the Cabal Empire-themed emblem. So not a bad package there for GameStop fans. There's also a digital deluxe edition online on the PSN, or the I assume it's on Xbox Live as well for $99.99. Premium digital content, legendary sword, legendary player emote, Cabal Empire themed emblem, and of course the expansion pass included with that as well. So Bender, so all that stuff in there, but I wanna hone in on this expansion pass, man. What do you think about Osiris and the Warmind being the symbols that are displayed on this thing, man?
Very intriguing. I'm not sure what it's going to entail, but I definitely am interested in finding out. I know Osiris was an old warlock,
Yeah.
That's about all we know about him, really. I mean, 'cause that's all the game has really told us about him.
Yeah.
From the main story. So yeah, it's going to definitely be interested in him. We know a little bit more about Rasputin, but not a whole lot more. So
Yeah.
we'd be interested in learning more about him and his history and what he has in store for us. So that'll be pretty cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm really excited to see what those expansion packs will bring.
Yeah, and they're said to bring new story missions, cooperative activities, competitive multiplayer, new weapons, armor, and gear. So cooperative activities we can assume to mean strikes and raids. Franklin, any thoughts on the expansion pass? Like what avenues they could explore with the Osiris or the Warmind?
I know that back when that entire thing leaked about the original State of Destiny, like the original story, Rasputin and Osiris, we know they should have had huge parts in that game. And I remember the stuff they're talking about for Rasputin, where he's kind of he can possess bodies and stuff, and that was like going to be his thing, as like this character that he was possessing. Like that was supposed to be like a big story thing. So that sounded really interesting. I remember when I was reading that at the time, like I really want to see them bring this stuff back. Like this seems like good material just to leave on the cutting room floor. So if they do that with Rasputin and really flesh out, like give us that story that they really wanted to in the first place, that would be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm really curious too if they're gonna go back to some of that stuff that they had. It seems like they had fleshed it out a lot, so I feel like the content is there. Maybe they can just get in there and retweak it, and there's still an interesting story to tell. So, yeah, good stuff. Yeah, and hopefully, what we've heard about Destiny 2, like it comes true. Like they're planning to release content at a quicker pace with this new engine that they're making. It's gonna be easy for them to go in there and constantly update the game. I'm hoping that we get these giant worlds and these outposts and things that they've been talking about with this game. So can't wait to see this game in action and learn more about it. And make no mistake, this is going to be a long burn learning process here. Like this is just the first step. So from here we're gonna learn about the actual gameplay. We're gonna get the beta. We're gonna get it in our hands. But there's gonna be a lot to process between now and September 8th as we learn about this game and everything that's gonna entail. For sure, we'll see it at Sony's press conference at E3. I'm quite sure that's where they're going to drop the beta information. I could just see them after that conference being like, yeah, the Destiny 2 beta is going to be available right now as soon as we get done today. So be on the lookout for that. The other thing, fellas, this game is officially coming to PC. So it is now a PS4, Xbox One, and PC franchise. So a lot of PC players interested to jump into Destiny 2. Real quick, Frankie, do you think any any hiccups or any problems that might arise bringing the PC version into the fray? And obviously they have another platform that they need to develop for, which is not a huge deal. But now you get into the idea of is Destiny going to be like 30 frames on the console, 60 frames on the PC? Are they going to now target maybe 60 frames with the game all the way around? What do you think bringing the PC version into this equation means?
Honestly, I could see them targeting 60 all around, just because, this is one of the games that was coming out, we constantly were hearing the PS3 and 360 versions were holding it back. So I think that's why we got a 30 frames version. I don't see how it couldn't have been 60, but, if you're talking about having to make this game with this old engine with these old systems in mind, obviously that hindered stuff. So my biggest concern bringing it to PC is there's some PC gamers out there who really kind of dig into these games more so than anyone probably should. So you'll have especially if you're playing Crucible, you're going to have guys in there who maybe obtain some questionable guns that they shouldn't have access to. Then you also that I feel like a lot of more players on there are going to be able to glitch into areas that you might not think to glitch into on consoles, like stuff like that. Like I think. They're kind of entering a little dangerous territory, getting in there with people who are going to want to like really dig into this game and kind of see what's in there to explore and stuff that they can kind of exploit from there that maybe you're not going to think to do on console. So that's maybe tread with caution, because especially if you get in on PC during the Iron Banner, you got guys in there using guns that let's pretend that you find a way to make the Gallarhorn your primary weapon, so you can just use it with infinite ammo in the Crucible. Probably not going to be a good time for you. So
yeah,
stuff like that's concerning.
I think that those stuffs are definitely a concern, and I think that's probably one of the reasons we'll see the PC versions stay separate from the console versions. I don't think we'll see crossplay with this. Although it would be cool, to be able to hop into a raid with somebody on a PC or something like that to do some of these cooperative stuff.
Yeah,
do these cooperative things together.
The other thing to bear in mind too is when this is out, I assume the Scorpio will be out and the PlayStation 4 Pro is out. So hopefully with those out and them developing this game now, like maybe if those of us who own the Pro or people who decide to get a Scorpio, maybe, if it still can't hit 60 frames on the base consoles, maybe there's enough juice in these newer boxes to get that thing up to a steady 60.
No. Yeah, I would think if they couldn't hit 60 that they would just go for the locked 30 again. Because, I don't know. Destiny, probably one of the great 30 frames per second games out there. The game, it never felt like it needed to be faster or there was any issues at all with the frame rate. I'm trying to even imagine how that game would play running at 60 frames now. Yeah. So yeah. So we're all excited for Destiny 2. Can't wait for this game. Can't wait to learn more about it. Just super pumped about this, man. So Frankie, no spring 2018 on this one, man. September 8th. It's happening.
That's good.
So this is one prediction I'm happy you were wrong on.
Me too.
Cool. All right, guys. So we are going to take a break now. We've got some music from Ruel Ethan. Follow him on Twitter at Ruel Ethan, and we'll be right back. And we're back. Thanks again to Ruel Ethan for providing the music for the show. We really appreciate it. He does the intro, does the intermission, does the closing music. Talented dude. So make sure you get out there, check him out on Twitter at Ruel Ethan. We love your music, man. The listeners love your music too. So thanks again for everything that you do for the show. All right, fellas. So outside of Destiny, there were a few other things that happened this week. We're gonna start with Guardians of the Galaxy. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, the Telltale series, had its first official trailer and its episode 1's release date, April 18th. We now know the game will be coming out $4.99 for the first episode. There's some deals out there. I think the game's $15.99 on PSN right now.
Yeah.
For if you pre-order it, so that's a really good deal. I definitely recommend getting out there and getting it if you're into that at all. You'll save a lot of money on the season pass if you're looking to get into this game now. So we saw the trailer. We saw a little bit about the storyline. We saw Thanos is going to be the villain in this game, which is awesome. He's the biggest of the baddies in the Marvel Universe. We'll all know that next year after we see Avengers: Infinity War. But to those of you that to those of you that don't know, so Thanos, just a mean dude. He's gonna be the main antagonist in this game from what we've seen in the trailer. Bender, what you think about what you saw in the trailer, man? You looking forward to getting this game on the 18th?
Yeah, I thought it was a cool trailer. Definitely looked pretty good. I'm really excited about this one. I may wait until all the episodes are out. I don't know if I don't know. I might not be able to wait. We'll see. We'll see what's going on. But I am excited about it. But I'd really like to wait until all the episodes are out and just play them one after the other. Because that's always the best way to play these episodic games. That way you don't have to wait. Mm-hmm. If an episode ends in a cliffhanger, you don't have to wait a month to play it. Play the next one. Mm-hmm. A month if you're lucky when it comes to Telltale.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll be able to keep up with that monthly schedule like they did with Batman. That'd be ideal, but you never know. Yeah. But yeah, it was a cool trailer. I mean, man, March 30th. It was my birthday. It's got Destiny 2 trailer, a Telltale Guardians trailer. It was a good day. So yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah.
Did you watch the It trailer?
Yeah, the It trailer.
I did not watch the It trailer.
The It trailer's pretty good. So if you haven't seen it, not necessarily you, Bender, but if you're a horror fan, and you haven't seen the It trailer, go check it out. It's shaping up nicely. Franklin, what'd you think of the trailer, man? What'd you think of the tone of the trailer? Did you think it was the right tone for the Guardians?
I feel like it was. I just think it's cool that there's a couple returning voice actors that I picked up on. I think Rocket Raccoon is, I think his name is William Billingham, but he's been in several of their games now. I believe he's also in Infamous Second Son, so that's awesome. But yeah, it definitely it oozes the sense of humor that I was hoping would be there. I really can't wait to hop in there and play it. So, like Bender, I pre-ordered it, and I'm probably gonna wait just because I feel like with The Walking Dead, they're not really hitting that monthly release anymore. So I think episode 3 just came out, and that released back in December. So I'm probably gonna wait.
Let me ask you about that too, Frankie. When they originally came out with The Walking Dead, they did that double-header episode, so they released episode 1 and 2 simultaneously. Do you think that's because they knew that this was going to be a longer wait? Or because really when you break it down, since December up till the end of March, they essentially have had 3 episodes of that series. So basically over a 3 or 4 month period, they've had 3 episodes when it comes down to it. Do you think that plays into it at all?
Maybe a little bit. Maybe I would assume too, yeah, because it's holiday time. They're probably everyone's taking time off for the holidays, so good possibility that they knew. Okay, yeah, we're not going to get another episode out until January, February, but the fact that it was late March when it finally came out, still slipping another month longer than I would have wanted. But
yeah,
I don't know. I just, especially with those games, like if I'm not playing them, within at least 2 weeks of each other. There's so much other stuff out there that I'm playing that, and this has happened many times with Telltale games that, I'll have played 2 or 3 games between a release and completely forget what was going on. I don't want that to be the case with Guardians. It did kind of happen with Batman too. Like even that one I was playing as they were coming out, but every episode was a month apart. So it was still, like I'm playing so much other stuff that by the time we get back in there, it's like, all right, so what happened again? And then, yeah, they have recaps, which is great, very helpful. But I feel like we did Life is Strange and we played through that thing like it was all there. We played through it then, and I felt it was more impactful, like seeing some of the stuff play out, being able to just jumping into the next thing and not having time to come down from the high of an end of one of the cliffhanger episodes. So,
yeah, definitely. And Rocket Frankie, Nolan North in this game.
Yes, that's awesome.
So
perfect.
Yeah, so Nolan North lending his pipes to Rocket as well. I think he's going to do an awesome job as him. Yeah, I like the trailer too. I'm with you guys. I like the tone of it. They're on the elevator. There's some of the silly Guardian stuff going on. Star-Lord says this is the slowest elevator in the world, and Drax is like, "And what proof do you have of this?"
Yeah.
And then Groot's like, "I am Groot." Yeah. So it was some of the silly Guardians humor in that. There seems like there's gonna be a cool story with this artifact that grants the holder immense power. Obviously Thanos being involved in it is awesome. Just a sweet villain. So yeah, I'm excited to see how this turns out, man. So $4.99 for the first episode, April 18th. Season pass disc will be available on May 2nd, and worldwide on May 5th. Season pass disc, still probably the stupidest thing I've ever seen. I understand it's a way for Telltale to get their games into a retail setting, and I'm sure that's why they do it, but just totally pointless to have a disc with one episode on it, and then you gotta download the rest of them. It's like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's your Telltale Guardians of the Galaxy update. Up next, Battlefront 2. Its official reveal we now know will come as part of Star Wars Celebration on April 15th. So this will debut the first trailer for the game. I don't know exactly what we're going to get out of this trailer, but the fans are going to be excited. This is going to be a sweet Star Wars celebration because not only are we anticipating Battlefront 2 being revealed, it'll be revealed at a panel by the name of the galaxy-wide premiere of Star Wars Battlefront 2. No beating around the bush with that name. But we're also expecting to see the first trailer for The Last Jedi here as well, hopefully. So this should be a pretty cool Star Wars celebration. Bender, what do you want to see from this trailer, man? What do you want to see from the Star Wars Battlefront 2 trailer? Do you care what you see at this point? I mean, is it pretty much a game you're going to get regardless of what you see here, or do you want to see them kind of hint at some of the story stuff that we're hearing about, the single-player campaign in this game?
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in seeing what kind of single-player stuff they have this time around, because that was one thing I kind of wished was there on the original game.
Yeah.
The multiplayer stuff was fun. I mean, they had some really cool modes and everything, but that's the thing that was lacking from the first one. So that's what I would most like to learn about for this one. The single player campaign.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think we're all on the same page here. The reverence that DICE showed to the original Star Wars trilogy with Battlefront, if they could take that same reverence and put it into a single-player experience, you got to imagine that's going to be a pretty good time. Frankie, what do you want to see out of this trailer, man? Do you want to see single-player stuff? Do you just want to see CGI? Does it matter what you see? What do you think?
Something akin to the Destiny reveal would be fine with me. Even if it's not, like a gameplay trailer, just something to kind of establish, what kind of single player experience you're going to be seeing.
Yeah.
But for me, like, I really did like Battlefront the way it played. It was a lot of fun, but at the same time, we played it twice, and I was kind of okay with that. I need something else to draw me to the game. Like, yes, you could have an awesome, fun multiplayer game, but a lot of the times with me, like, once I put those back on the shelf, I don't reach for them again. This happened with Titanfall 1 and several other multiplayer games that I got into. Like, if I don't have, and the other thing I really want to see with this, actually, honestly, is a co-op story. A single player is great, but I want to be able to co-op it as well. So that's, I don't know if that's, like, doable, because obviously, I think a lot of people want this game to just have, like, a single player, rather than just a co-op campaign. So, yeah. But either way, I just anything that'll bring me back to that game past playing a couple multiplayer sessions is always good. So, if it has a great story, Titanfall 2 had a great story, and I still fall off that multiplayer. But if I can point to that thing and be like, dude, I'd play that story again. It was great. That'd be fine too.
Yeah. So the trailer will debut April 15th at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Pacific. So it's another one I'll have to queue up at my desk when I'm at work there. But Star Wars Battlefront 2 will be shown at the galaxy-wide premiere of Star Wars Battlefront 2 panel at Star Wars Celebration, during which DICE, Criterion, and Motive will offer a glimpse at the game and debut the first trailer. Those unable to attend the event will be able to watch the footage online and at the official Star Wars Celebration website. Now, Frankie, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but have they talked about Criterion and Motive being involved with Battlefront 2? I feel like I haven't heard much about this.
Motive, I know, is handling the single player because DICE is focused on the multiplayer, so I know they've mentioned Motive being involved, but the only thing we know about Criterion's involvement was their VR mission for the base Battlefront, so I wonder if this is kind of hinting at maybe we'll get another VR mode or something with VR.
So I feel like they just kind of slipped that in there. Or maybe they're getting into the vehicle stuff in the game, and they're kind of handling all the vehicle physics and the vehicle handling and how that stuff goes. We know that that's their specialty. Bender, what do you think about when it says offer a glimpse at the game and debut the first trailer? Does that sound to you like we're going to get a snippet of gameplay in there?
Possibly. I mean, I don't know. A glimpse could be anything.
Yeah,
because a glimpse of multiplayer or single player.
Because they delineate it there, where they're like, we'll give you a glimpse at the game and debut the first trailer. So they make the way they phrase it. It sounds like that's two separate things, right? A glimpse at the game and the first trailer. So it sounds like maybe we might get to see a little bit of gameplay, whether it's multiplayer or single player.
Yeah, sounds like it.
In a perfect world, what story would you want to see them tackle in single player? Because that's the other thing we know about Battlefront 2. It's not going to be relegated to just the original trilogy. They're going to expand their wings. They're going to get into some of the new stuff as well. Do you want to see an original story? Do you want to see an adaptation of like the original trilogy or one of the stories that we know in Star Wars? In a perfect world, what would your ideal Battlefront 2 storyline or single player experience look like?
I don't know. It'd be kind of cool if they did some like vignettes where you're just like playing different pieces of story from throughout the trilogies, and as well as the new stuff. I mean, it'd be cool to play as Rey and just do stuff with as her. That'd be pretty cool. Or Finn, and then also to go back and do some stuff on with the original trilogy. Play as Han or Luke or any of that stuff. That'd be really cool. So I don't know. I think that'd be pretty cool if they just did a little bit of everything from throughout the Star Wars universe.
Dude, I'm actually with you on that 100%. Frankie, we know that DICE just got done working on Battlefield 1, and this was kind of the approach that they took with that game, where they had all these little vignettes, all these little kind of mini stories that made up the Battlefield 1 campaign. What if they did something like that with Battlefront 2? And they took all these different pieces of the Star Wars universe and gave us these kind of tight, 45-minute, an hour and a half experiences in the Star Wars universe. Would you be down for something like that?
That'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Totally.
So maybe we'll get our first snippet April 15th. We'll have to see how it all works out. Speaking of Battlefield 1, too, I wanted to bring this up because I think this is really cool. But they've got this new program they're introducing called Premium Friends, where basically if your friend owns the premium pass of the game, you can play multiplayer on the new maps without having to buy the premium pass yourself. Only owners of the premium pass will earn XP, but it's cool that if you have a friend and you want to get them involved in the game and you want to play on a map that maybe only you own, it's cool that they can hop in there with you and be able to experience that as well. So hopefully we see more of that stuff. I think that's a cool system and a thing to promote. So good on DICE for that. All right, let's move into some Mass Effect Andromeda news now. Bioware, fellas, has responded to some of the feedback they've received from Mass Effect Andromeda, and they're actually teasing some more info about the game in the near future here. So, in a statement from Bioware, they said, "It's been a week since we officially launched Mass Effect Andromeda worldwide, and we couldn't be more excited that our fans are finally experiencing everything we've worked so hard to create. We've received quite a bit of feedback, some of it positive and some of it critical. That feedback is an important part of our ongoing support of the game, and we can't wait to share more of our immediate plans with you on Tuesday, April 4th. BioWare also stresses that players should keep the feedback coming. Until then, stating that the team is listening and working around the clock to improve and build on the game. So interesting. So, Frankie, I don't know. I don't remember any studio in recent memory coming out making a statement like this, like an official statement on the feedback that they've received on the game, and then teasing an imminent reveal of more info about what they plan to do with this feedback. What do you think about the way BioWare is handling some of the negativity and some of the constructive criticism they've experienced with Mass Effect Andromeda?
I mean, depending what they end up doing about some of the problems people are having. I think it's great. I think it's great that they're just tackling it head on. Like the game just came out a week, 2 weeks ago now. So
yeah,
already they're like, we hear you. We'll talk more about what we're doing. Soon. Like it's not even a month after release. Like they're wasting no time acknowledging that people have issues with the game and what they want to do to make it right. So I think that's great on them.
Yeah, they're getting out here. They're trying to get ahead of it. They're trying to be on top of the situation. So I think that's definitely the way to go. Bender, I know you haven't got back to the game yet since you originally played it, but you played about 4 or 5 hours with it. What from those 4 or 5 hours, what would you like to see BioWare respond to, or what do you want to see them tweak in this first round of feedback, or what they're planning to address on April 4th, if anything?
I didn't have any really negative criticisms about the game from what I played. I mean, there were a couple of weird facial animations that I noticed, but it wasn't anything that really detracted me from the game too much.
Yeah.
So I mean, I liked what I played. Granted, I didn't really get into the game yet because I just got to the point where the game starts to really open up. I had a lot of conversations in the time that I played. But I like the story and everything from what I played, and the combat, from what I experienced. So I didn't really have anything that was glaring to me that I would want them to fix right away.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so I'll be interested to see what that turns out to be. So that'll be April 4th. So this Tuesday, BioWare will have some type of a statement or something that talks about what they plan to do with Mass Effect Andromeda in the future. So moving on from there, fellas, get a couple of interesting leaks. I'm gonna use this term very loosely, regarding some release dates for some games, some very highly anticipated games coming up in the not too distant future. First off, the release date of Red Dead Redemption 2 was hinted at by a Polish retailer by the name of Media Market. They slapped a October 3rd, 2017 release date on the game. This is coming via PlayStation trophies. They apparently this is in an email response from the site. They said, "I would like to inform you, quote, I would like to inform you that our marketing department was informed by distributor of the game that its airing date is the 3rd of October 2017. So this is an email response that was posted on Reddit, I guess, from this Polish site that put the release date up for Red Dead Redemption 2. The release date has since been taken down. It now has the nebulous, December 31st, 2017 date that all games without release dates typically have. So, Frankie, let me ask you about this, man. When you see a Polish retailer put this date up, and then you see them back out on it, and you see them send out a statement like they sent out this email response that ended up on Reddit, is there any credence to this date? And why in the hell would Media Market, this Polish retailer, have the release date for this game and nobody else would? What are your thoughts on this, man?
Yeah, this is weird. Especially when the thing that always drives me crazy is it's always a lot of these are retailers that we've never heard of before. I've never heard of these guys before.
Do these ever turn out to be true? I can't remember one that did turn out to be true.
There's been maybe one that they've had a couple that they ended up being spot on with, but this wasn't them because I think I would recognize the name. But either way, it seems weird that you would put out a statement and then detract the date. Like, is it a clicks thing? Like, it's a retailer, so why now people are going to be going there looking for information. But that's just really weird to me. I wouldn't put much stock into that one at all.
Dude, this is a game that's kind of, and it seems silly to say this because we don't know anything about it. It hasn't even been. We saw a CGI trailer last year for it that didn't show us anything about the game. But this game's almost been lost in the shuffle of the excellence of this year. It seems crazy that this game could possibly come out this fall as well. I mean, I know that said that's what they're targeting, but do you think there's any way that this game makes the fall, or does this maybe slip into 2018?
I wouldn't be surprised if it slipped, but like Rockstar,
it'd be a massive game, right?
Yeah, I mean, Rockstar typically hits November, but if they don't, they're usually an April release. So it's hard to say, man. I could see it slipping, but also I think Rockstar's been pretty steady lately. Like when they announce something with a target time frame, like they've hit it. Like Grand Theft Auto, I'm pretty sure was targeting fall, released in fall. So I have no doubt that Red Dead, I would expect to see that thing in November, like most of their other releases. So I think they'll hit the November.
Do you think we don't see this game until E3? Is that
totally.
when we learn more about it?
Definitely.
So.
Sony's got marketing rights for this and Destiny. Like those two, there's no doubt in my mind. Those are the two big games this fall. We're gonna see those on stage at E3. So,
man, that could be with some of the games that they have in the pipeline too, with like God of War and Days Gone. Some of these other games, like they could have another just monster presentation with some of these games that they're gonna trot out here. So we're not feeling the Red Dead Redemption date. Bender, Media Market. You put a lot of stock in that Polish retailer. I know you visit them regularly. So what are your thoughts on there?
I was just thinking it sounded made up. Sounds like they just put two words together and like, let's just call ourselves this.
Yeah.
No, it sounds a little weird to me. I wouldn't put much stock into it.
I always find it weird. Yeah, like Frankie mentioned, these places we've never heard of. Like, how does Media Market, the Polish retailer that nobody's ever heard of, have the release date for Red Dead Redemption 2 prior to the game even being unveiled? That just makes no sense to me. So I'm not putting a lot of stock in that one. So let's play this game again now, but this time let's do it with Days Gone. So we have an Austrian retailer who has put an August 22nd release date on Days Gone. This retailer, it goes by the name of Games Only, and August 22nd is a Tuesday, which is obviously when games release here, but not so much in Australia. Or is Australia? Austrian, excuse me. Austria. Yeah. But not when games release in Austria, which typically is on a Friday in Europe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that typically how it goes?
Yep.
So, Frankie, I'm going to ask you again, man. Any stock in Games Only putting in an August 22nd release date on Days Gone? Any stock at all in this?
No. Especially like you said, it's a European retailer. They don't release games on Tuesday. I know Sony has done some worldwide things, but that's typically like Uncharted 4, and that one was, we delayed it to do a worldwide release. Like, stuff like that. Like, I don't, no offense, like, to, Ben Studios, but Days Gone isn't, like, that caliber of game to me, so I don't think they're going to be targeting a worldwide release date with that. Like, if it's going to come out, like, that week, it would still be, like, a Friday release over there.
Yeah. Bender, Games Only, after Media Market. I mean, this is the site that you frequent most, right? So
absolutely.
August 22nd for Days Gone. Sounds about right?
Nah.
Yeah. This is another one. The game, not even really, we don't have any information at all about it. So why in the hell would Games Only have the release date for Days Gone?
Why would they send, like, the thing that too, like, that's the day that Shadow of War comes out?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you compete against that? Why would you put your zombie shooter out the same day that I'm going to go ahead and say my most anticipated game for the year is coming out? Why would you do that? Everybody wants Shadow of War. Everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose, but plus I just feel like Days Gone is going to have a huge marketing push behind it. This is going to be a huge game for Sony. They're going to put a lot of, if this game turns out anything like they want it to, they're going to put a huge push behind this. So August 22nd, I don't think it's going to give us enough time to really get the marketing cycle going. I don't expect to hear or see more about this until at the very least E3. So I just don't see it. There's so many games in the pipeline here, and I find it hard to believe they would come out with Days Gone, God of War, Detroit, Spider-Man, like all these games this year. I just don't see it. They've got to space these things out a little bit, especially with Destiny coming out in September. Many people look at Destiny as a PlayStation game. Mm-hmm. With the exclusive content, with the marketing deal. This is a game very closely associated with PlayStation. Destiny will move PlayStation units in and of itself. So I don't think there's going to be any big rush by Sony to have to get one of their big first-party titles out this year. They don't really have to do it because they have Destiny, and like you mentioned, they're going to have Red Dead. That's going to be a marketing deal that they're going to have. Battlefront, they may be partnered with that as well. Who knows? So
obviously Call of Duty.
Yeah, obviously Call of Duty. So they're going to have these big third-party franchises that are pushing their systems out the door. They're going to be running bundles with this stuff. Mm-hmm. So once again, they're sitting pretty for the foreseeable future here for the next 3 years with all of these big-time titles that they have lined up from first party, and they have the luxury to kind of space these out and take their time with these. So we'll see where it goes from here.
Yeah, I mean,
we're going to stick with go ahead.
I was like, quite honestly, of like those games you're talking about, the only one that we've even heard anything about is God of War. That game is playable from beginning to end, and like judging based on like Mass Effect, like when we last heard like that was playable from beginning to end was around Christmas, released in March. God of War is the only of those games I could totally see coming out sometime this year before the big fall rush.
Yeah, man, that's crazy to think of, dude. I just don't think this year can handle God of War. It just can't. Just take your God of War and put it in 2018. It's just an epic year for video games, man. We're gonna stick with Sony though. We're gonna move into some of the other PlayStation stories that came out this week. Starting first, guys, with the Wipeout collection. The Wipeout Omega collection has a release date of June 6th. So this once again houses Wipeout HD, Fury, and 2048 all in one snazzy package. It will have a PlayStation 4 Pro support out of the box. They're targeting 4K and 60 frames per second, or excuse me, a dynamic 4K and 60 frames per second on PS4 Pro. So this looks to be a really sharp looking game. Frankie, you have any experience with the Wipeout franchise?
Very little. I just remember playing some of Wipeout HD because that was one of the games I ended up getting for free after the network outage, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I think I actually played some of 2048 on the Vita as well, but anything that's like F-Zero I flock to, so like that, Redout. I'm going to pick up Fast RMX at some point, but yeah, this one's on my radar for sure. But again, like it's a tough spot, like coming out of May for me is ridiculous. Tekken 7's out the week before this, so... So man.
Yeah, a nice price on this one. I think $39.99 seems like it's gonna be a good package for that price. Bender, you like these futuristic racers at all, man?
I do. Yeah, I've played Wipeout a little bit.
Okay.
So yeah, I have a little bit of experience with those. One I liked even more, which I don't know if you guys remember, a game called Extreme G. It was like a futuristic racer, but they were like motorcycle type things. That was a good one.
Yeah, sounds familiar.
I had that on the GameCube.
Yeah.
Extreme G3.
Extreme G3.
But yeah, Wipeout is cool too. So yeah, I might be interested in checking that out, especially for $40. It's not too bad.
And sounds like it's going to be a nice package when all is said and done. I've actually never played Wipeout myself, so I'm really interested to get into this. I've always loved F-Zero and those kind of games as well. So I'll be on board for this on June 6th. This seems like it's going to be a beautiful title too on both the regular PS4 and the Pro. Looks like it's just from what I've seen in the trailers, looks to be a stunner. So it's got that on its side as well. We also have a release date for Valkyria Revolution, June 27th. This is another game, $39.99. You can get out and pre-order it now. If you pre-order, you get access to the what is it called? The Vannergand edition or something like that. Vannerand, something along those lines. Vannergand is what it's called. The Valkyria Revolution Vannergand edition.
Something with a V.
Yeah, something with a V. Victor Vance. Something with a V. Yeah, so if you pre-order the regular edition of the game right now, you'll automatically be upgraded to the Vannergand edition as one of the initial pre-orders of the game. And this looks like a nice edition. You know, it's got a different box, soundtrack, CD, pin, some cool stuff in here. So for nothing, as long as you just pre-order the game. So looking forward to that. I threw in a pre-order for this. I don't have a lot of experience with Valkyria, but I think this game looks cool. It takes the turn-based system that the game has been known for, kind of flips it on its head. We've got some real-time strategy and combat in this game now as well. Frankie, any interest in this one?
Yeah, I'm not a big turn-based fan, but I do like the look of this game. The real-time strategy stuff looks like it'll actually be pretty fun. Trying to kind of get more into those, especially after Halo Wars 2. So I'm interested, and hey, $40. Obviously, Amazon Prime a little cheaper. Give me a soundtrack. I'm there.
Yeah. With Amazon Prime or with the Best Buy Gamers Club, I mean, we're looking at $32 for this game. coming out the gate. So not a bad price for a brand new game. Also coming to the Vita as well, which is awesome. I love that this game's on the Vita. Some really cool games on track for the PS4 and Vita as we move through the rest of this year. Bender, any interest in this, man? You any interest in getting into some of these strategy games like this, or like Fire Emblem, or some of these other games that seem to be proliferating a little more in the industry now?
Yeah, possibly. I think I would be more likely to get into a Fire Emblem game. Maybe by the time the one that comes out on Switch is here, maybe I'll want to check that one out. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. Strategy's not my favorite genre, but I do like them sometimes, so it's something I might have to try out sometime.
Yeah, I believe this also is the first Valkyria game coming to the Xbox, so that's cool.
Probably so, yeah. So Valkyria Revolution, June 27th, PS4, Vita, and some other platforms as well. Final Fantasy XIV, fellas, just a note here, the free trial is no longer time restricted, and this is awesome. You can now play the free trial of Final Fantasy XIV up to level 35 for as many different classes and jobs as you want. So that is a lot of... It takes a while to get to level 35 in this game. So that's a lot of playing this game that you can do for the low price of nothing. And they're smart about this too, man, because if you go up to level 35 in this game, I'd be shocked if you didn't want to go further. This game is very addicting. So if you get locked into this game and you make it all the way to level 35, there's no way you're not going to want to buy this thing, subscribe to it, and keep playing. So I think it's a savvy move for them to release the time restriction on this. Just let you play it, and if you haven't played this game yet, check it out. You'll love it. Plague Road is coming to the PS4 and Vita in the near future. This is an interesting blend of strategy and roguelike. Very, very colorful, very beautiful looking game. I'm curious to see more on that one. Akiba's Beat hits PS4 and Vita on May 16th. This is the sequel to the Crazy Akiba's Trip, the game about the disrobing vampires, and so they'll disintegrate in the sunlight.
I'm sure JD is really excited about this.
Yeah, no, JD's been playing through Akiba's Trip, so Akiba's Beat will be waiting for him when he gets done with that. Starblood Arena, Gone Gold. This game, which is good because the game comes out next week.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, so it's good that it's gold now. What are your thoughts on this game, Frankie? Where are you at on Starblood Arena? I think it looks like it might be fun, man.
It does look like it might be fun. I know they talked about it's gonna have a single player campaign.
Yeah.
I think arena shooters in VR actually, like, I don't really care for arena shooters often, but doing them in VR, it's fun. So I'm interested in checking it out. Don't know when I'll get around to it. Obviously Ukulele is out next week, or not next week. Is it next week? Oh my god, it is next week. Yeah, Ukulele is out next week. So I got Horizon I'm going to be tackling here soon. I just don't know where I'm going to fit that in.
Yeah. A multitude of different game modes in this game. Single player, competitive, cooperative, horde type modes, all kinds of different stuff in this game to keep you busy. Bender, what are your thoughts on Starblood Arena, man? This is basically jumping behind piloting a mech or a robot, going around this arena, shooting stuff up. You can do it with your friends. Any thoughts on this one?
No, I haven't heard much about it or seen much about it, but it sounds kind of cool from what you just said there. So I might need to look into it.
Yeah, definitely. So Starblood Arena, that'll be on the new release list for next week. And then finally, the media player has been updated with 4K support. So if you have a 4K file, like a USB stick, and you want to play it through your PS4 Pro, you now have the ability to do that through the media player app that's on the system there. Let's move on from there, fellas. We got some Injustice 2 news. Captain Cold and Scarecrow now confirmed for Injustice 2. And Scarecrow is confirmed to be voiced by the one and only Robert Englund. So this is now a guaranteed purchase for Brent Felsing, which he will now have to fit into his budget. So we saw a cool trailer with Gorilla Grodd, Bane, Captain Cold, and Scarecrow. Put out a pretty wicked trailer with them, doing their bad guy stuff. What do you think about the designs on these guys, Frankie? What do you think about specifically Scarecrow and Bane?
Yeah, I mean, Bane, I don't really... I'm not feeling their design for him. Scarecrow, jeez, like, he literally looks like Nightmare Fuel in this game. He actually kind of looks like Baraka.
Yeah, Yeah, he's got a pretty wicked look in this game.
Yeah.
Grodd looks awesome. Captain Cold looks awesome.
Nice. Yeah, I can't wait to play this game, man.
Yeah, I think they've only got one more character to reveal. I wonder who it's gonna be.
Yeah, something coming up soon. They're gonna be able to announce that, right? Some event.
Yeah. I would imagine that they're gonna announce the last character pretty soon, and then man, I'm still really curious, dude, to see the gear system in this game and see how it works, and you know, I heard somebody talking about them having almost like an Iron Banner type of thing that they do like every couple weeks, where your gear will be, you know, like it'll be allowed into like tournament matches and that kind of stuff. So I think that would be really cool if they do something like that.
That's awesome. That's a good idea.
I think it's a great idea. So that'll kind of take the level adjustments off, and whatever gear you have, you can kind of go in there and get the battle in against these other people with that. That would be really, really addicting in this game if they did something like that. So I can't wait to get my hands on this either, man. Looks like it's shaping up nicely. Here's an interesting story, guys. So Ken Levine, his group was a Ghost Story. Name of his new studio.
Yep.
Yeah. So they were at EGX Rezzed in London this past weekend, and Levine was doing an interview there. Had a couple interesting things to say about the new game that he's working on, and specifically in regards to Shadow of Mordor. So I'm gonna read a couple quotes here. So this is Ken talking about kind of his narrative inspiration for this game. Quote, "The game that inspired me most, that we were maybe onto something, on the right track, was Shadow of Mordor with the Nemesis system. That was a very limited, rudimentary approach to it that covers a very narrow area. It's more of a meta-narrative, and there's not a lot of dialogue support for that stuff, so our thing is much more ambitious. That sort of gave us, like, okay, maybe we're not completely crazy in what we're trying to do here." And Levine makes reference to what he calls a radical recognition. So he says, quote, "One of the most important things about what we're doing now is this concept of radical recognition, that if the player does something, the game should, as often as we can, recognize that accomplishment or failure or whatever it is, and find ways to have the world feedback that it cares. The heart of that is something that's central to our game. They're still built on a different model, sort of a branching structure model. Our game is a deeply systemic game, underpinning everything from gameplay to narrative. To be able to have a narrative system that seems traditional, like our other games, Bioshock or System Shock 2, for instance, one of those kind of narratives, but can react and comment on much more small-level actions the player takes. That's the goal." Frankie, you're a fan of Ken Levine and what he does. What do you think about this idea here that he's exploring and taking the Nemesis system or something like that and infusing it into a more narrative approach with what he's looking to do in his game, having the game react and you know, change based on what you do? What do you think about that?
I think, like, given the games that he's kind of led before, I think that'd be perfect for the type of like stories that he likes to tell. Honestly, like, if there was anybody out there who was going to take something of the Nemesis system and kind of do something with it, like, because I think this is one of the things that we expected, like, okay, this thing's out there, a lot of games are going to start utilizing it, and so far nobody really has. So knowing that, you know, somebody out there such as himself was inspired by that thing and wants to use that, like, I think that's perfect. I even like going back to Bioshock Infinite, just, you know, listening to them kind of talk about how, you know, they were trying to program, you know, Liz as this, you know, kind of companion character that, you know, could think and do things on her own. Like, I felt like they actually nailed that with her. Like, you know, she was constantly helping you. You know, she would react if, you know, you like pointed a gun at her or anything. Like, I think they did a great job with her. So like knowing that, you know, they could totally pull stuff like that off. Like, if they can really get into the Nemesis system type of thing and really like use that to shape a unique narrative. Like, I know that's what he's going for. If they can nail that, dude, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think it has the potential to be something really incredible if Ken, as long as he doesn't let his ambitions get the best of him here with this system. I think it could be something really cool. Bender, what do you think about this idea, man? Thinking about this narrative, like, living world that reacts to what you do and kind of shapes the world around your actions. Do you think that's possible in a video game? And what do you think about what Ken's talking about here?
It definitely sounds interesting. I'd be excited to learn more about how that could work. I didn't play Shadow of Mordor, but from what I've heard a lot about, the Nemesis system, people said it was really revolutionary and it was a really cool thing to have in the game. And I've heard a lot of people speculate that's going to be something that other games are going to start to imitate. So I guess this may be the first one that we've seen that really is trying to kind of take cues from that game and that system. So it could be really interesting if they kind of take what they did in that game and kind of expound on it and make it a little bit deeper or whatever they want to do. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I think it is strange that we haven't seen more people trying to ape that or do something with it. So yeah, I mean Ken is obviously a genius. He's a really smart dude. So if anybody can do anything with this system and do it from a more narrative focused angle, it's Ken. So I can't wait to see what he comes up with, and don't know where in the process his game is right now, but I know he's got some big ideas, and hopefully he can deliver on those.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move into some more Nintendo stuff now, guys. Breath of the Wild received an update recently. I don't know if you guys noticed as you were playing through your game there, but it supposedly fixed some of the frame rate issues in the game, and some of the people that have been reporting that have been playing it that some of the areas that have given them problems are a little bit better. There's still some areas that need to be ironed out, but overall, sounds like a better experience. And I love the patch notes that Nintendo put with this patch. It says, quote, "Adjustments have been made to make for a more pleasant gaming experience," end quote. Those are the patch notes for this update. Bender, let me ask you, man. I know you're playing through Zelda. You and Frankie, have you noticed anything with this patch? Any areas that were giving you trouble? Like specifically, I know Kotaku mentions the Korok Forest it had some slowdown and some 20 frame areas in there. Mm-hmm. Have you been back through there and noticed that being any better? Have you noticed anything with this update?
I actually haven't had a chance to play a whole lot since that patch came out. I've just played a little bit, but I mean, from what I have played, I haven't seen any issues. But I mean, the pre-patch, there was definitely a few times where I've noticed some stuff. Some slowdown and everything. So I guess it remains to be seen. I'll have to play it a little bit more to see if it's how big of an effect it had on the gameplay experience. But in my limited playtime since the patch came out, I haven't noticed any major issues.
What about you, Frankie? You fired it up since the patch. Any areas that were giving you problems before that have smoothed out at all?
So the patch actually downloaded the night that I had finished the game, so
okay.
I haven't been back to any of the areas that I know. I know there's certain fields where it's a lot of the grass blowing, but then if you have like guardians shooting at you and just running away from that, like the game chugs noticeably. I haven't been back there I'm gonna go back at some point, but I haven't been back in there to test any of that out yet. So,
gotcha. Cool. So we'll wait to hear back from you then. Get a report after you've been back through there and see how this patch is working. But I know some people have said that certain areas are getting better for them, so that's good to hear that Nintendo's getting in there and fixing that stuff up. Reggie's been talking this past week, and he says that the Switch is setting sales records every day. We've turned the industry on its ear, he says. Sounds like some Reggie stuff. So let's see. Quote. This is a quote from Reggie. "The reaction to Nintendo Switch has been remarkable. Every day we're setting new records from a U.S. perspective, meaning, today I can look back and see how I compare to the launch of the Wii or the DS or the 3DS, and I'm setting sales records every day with the Nintendo Switch. The reaction has been fantastic. Consumers want it. I've been with industry peers. They're excited with what we're doing and hoping to drive the industry. I've seen the games like The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, right now the 4th highest rated game in the history of video games. We've turned the industry on its ear, and to do that, to be part of a company that has a reputation for doing it on a regular basis, has been tremendous." So, the typical Reggie hyperbole that we expect from him. But obviously the Switch selling extremely well for Nintendo, and they're very happy with it. Reggie also says that Nintendo will have a big E3 this year. Yes. He, quote, "E3 is always a big time for Nintendo. We look at each E3 as a unique opportunity to tell our story, and we're going to have a big E3 this year. We're going to be showcasing a variety of games. We will have experiences for consumers will be able to attend the show for the very first time. So I'm not going to tell you all of the various games and all of our little secrets for E3, but I can tell you that E3 is going to be a major opportunity for us to showcase not only Nintendo Switch, but also content coming to Nintendo 3DS. Bender, what do you think about what Reggie's got to say here? Specifically, what do you think about him noting that they're going to highlight 3DS at E3 this year?
It's a little weird. I mean, whatever they announce,
it's par for the course with Nintendo, right?
Yeah, I mean, whatever they announce for 3DS, it's gonna be. I can't imagine I'd get too excited about it unless they just announce something that's just awesome. But I mean, whatever they come out with, I would rather play it on the Switch. I mean, that's the new thing. You know, so I don't know what they could announce for the 3DS that would really get me excited, but I don't know. It's kind of weird. I'm definitely going to be more interested in learning about the Switch news and seeing some new footage of Mario Odyssey and you know, some new game announcements for Switch. I want to see a new Metroid game. Maybe a
cough.
Yeah, maybe a Pokemon game for Switch would be cool. I mean, I think that would be good for the system. So you know, whatever they show, I'll be more excited about the Switch stuff for sure. But I don't know. We'll have to see.
Frankie, is Nintendo making a mistake by continuing to focus on the 3DS? I mean, at an E3 conference where, you know, they have this new thing, which is almost first and foremost a handheld before anything else. But are they making a mistake by still focusing on the 3DS?
You know, to an extent, no. I say that only because I look at something like what is it? The new Fire Emblem Warriors. Like seeing that thing coming out, like knowing that it's only for the new 3DS. Like if they're gonna keep going that route and do things maybe on the Switch and the new 3DS, because you know what I mean, a lot of people bought that thing, and as of now there are 3 exclusives on it. I think Runbow, Xenoblade 3D, and now this. So I think if they're gonna focus on like making games for specifically that 3DS model, I'm totally fine with it. I think giving people like who bought that thing, you know, some validation behind that purchase, that's awesome. But I would also expect them maybe, like, I wouldn't expect, you know, like 3DS only games. Like, I think we're going to see a lot of coming to Nintendo Switch and the new 3DS. Like, that's what I think the focus is going to be. But it's still obviously going to be mentioned, so I just hope that Reggie isn't kind of over-talking E3, because I feel like, you know, we've heard this before, like, with the Switch reveal and everything else, like, oh, this is going to be a big deal, and then it ends up, you know, here's 1-2 Switch. So I'm going to keep my expectations in check, but I do really hope that we see, I know we heard like a Smash Brothers port, and there's a new Luigi's Mansion supposedly coming. Like that's all I'm hoping to see. There's not going to be Metroid Prime. Hashtag sorry, Bender.
At some point we have to know what Retro is working on. So are they working on Metroid, do you think? Or do you think that they're doing something else?
I wouldn't be surprised if they were, just because, you know, obviously Federation Force pissed off a lot of people. So I could totally see Nintendo being like, all right, here's the Metroid Prime game you want. But I kind of think that Retro, I think, gets to pick what they're doing. Because I think a lot of people are like, oh, you want to do another Donkey Kong Country? Okay. But I could see them doing another Donkey Kong Country game, honestly. I would be totally cool with that too.
I hope not.
Shake your head. Be disappointed. It's not Metroid.
What do you think, Bender? Is any chance Retro would work on like something new, like their own IP?
That's a possibility, and if it turned out to be something cool, I would actually be okay with that. If they're not working on Metroid, I would want it to be something new, because I mean the Donkey Kong Country games are great, but I don't think they need to work on another one of those right away. I mean, they can let that. I mean, they came out with 2 great Donkey Kong Country games. They need to let that series kind of sit for a little while. They should work on something else. So if they're not working on Metroid, which I hope they are, but if they're not, I would hope that they would be working on something new and exciting.
Yeah, I mean, for sure we're gonna see Mario Odyssey at E3, so that's without a doubt that's gonna be there. So they're gonna have that huge game to show us and probably give us our first substantial look at that game. So it's gonna depend on all this other stuff though, like what they're able to bring out in terms of their first party catalog. And yeah, I think if they can come out and they can give us Mario Odyssey and they can give us the Virtual Console, and they give us, because at this point it doesn't look like we're gonna see it before then. So if they can trot out the Virtual Console with the GameCube games and give us an idea of what their online plan is going to be moving forward, and they can sprinkle in some cool indie games like they did at their Nindies presentation, and they can give us a Metroid or they can give us the Smash Brothers port, then I think they'll have a very successful conference. It's just Nintendo just is probably not going to do that though, because that's what we all want. So we'll have to see what it. Do you think they're going to do a direct, or do you think they're going to have a live conference?
I don't know. Could go either way at this
point. Or a presentation or whatever they call these things now.
Yeah, I could see them doing either one at this point. I don't know. And I would be okay. If they have cool announcements, I don't really care how they present it. If they do a stage show, that's great. If not, if they just do a direct, that's fine. Or a digital event or whatever they call it. That'd be fine. I just want a Metroid, man. Even if they're not ready to show something, just give me a title screen. All I want is just to know that it's coming. I just want to know
Metroid
that it's
Prime,
out there.
Federation Force 2.
Federation Force 2.
Dude, if they're not ready to give us like the next like big Metroid, 3D Metroid, Metroid Prime, or whatever it is that they're working on for Metroid, like if they trot out a 2D Metroid, like, hey, Super Metroid 2, or this is a sequel to Super Metroid, or something along those lines. Like, a game like that would be awesome on the Switch. Just totally awesome.
Yeah.
They could trot that out, and then they could be like, this is the precursor. Like, they could show us the logo to Metroid Prime 4, or whatever it's going to be, and then they could show us, like, the game, the 2D Metroid that we're going to be playing in the lead up to that game. I think that would be perfect.
Dude, in a perfect world... In a perfect world, they would have 2 Metroid games coming out. They'll have the retro-developed Metroid Prime sequel coming out, so it's the full 3D one. And then they'll have a 2D Metroid game coming out and developed by someone like Way Forward or Yacht Club Games. Oh, that would be so cool. That would be awesome.
That'd be awesome.
I know it's not going to happen, but that'd be so cool.
Yeah. But I'm sure they've got somebody on staff or somebody in one of their handheld teams that is capable of making an awesome Metroid game. Why it hasn't happened at this point, who knows? But so hopefully Nintendo's E3 is big, like Reggie says, and hopefully, man. But when they do live events, there's like always those awkward moments. Like they always find a way to insert them in there somehow, like the like Wii music or. What's her name? Cammy on the balance board. Like there's just there's just always
Suda
that
51 out there.
Yeah, Suda. I mean, there's just always like these weird, awkward portions of their live shows that it might be better if they just do a pre-recorded segment.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. One more bit of Switch news here. Psyonix is evaluating bringing Rocket League to the Switch. This is them speaking with IGN. Quote, who is this? Jeremy Dunham, Vice President at Psyonix Studios. Quote, just like all the other platforms, we are evaluating it. We're looking to see what the technical requirements are. We're looking to see what kind of true community demand there is. We're looking to see how it would benefit the community as a whole. So we're still in that evaluation phase. It's definitely too early to say that it would happen, but it's also definitely too early to say that it wouldn't happen, but it's also definitely too early to say that it would. Bender, would you play Rocket League on the Switch?
Yeah, I think I would. I think that'd be a cool game to have on the Switch.
Yeah. With Rocket League, do you think that in order for them to bring it to the Switch, they'd have to have their internet plan like together beforehand? Because this is a game that thrives on the internet, right? And this is something that you're gonna want to play with other people and get in matches and compete online. It's that kind of a game. So, to me, at least from the outside looking in, it would seem like Psyonix would want to see their online plan put in order and put into action before they would consider bringing this over to the Switch.
Yeah, most likely. I'd say that's fair to say. I think it'd be cool if they should also give you the option to play with like AI opponents, like just bots or something, for those times that you don't have an internet connection. I think they should definitely have that as an option as well for that game. But it'll be interesting to see if it actually does come out on the Switch. That'd be cool.
Yeah. I could see it being a cool thing that you can, link up multiple Switches if you meet up with a group of people and you guys can all link up and play Rocket League. But yeah, Frankie, this has to have the Switch has to have its online stuff together before they would consider bringing Rocket League over, right?
Yeah, definitely. I know too. Like especially like with them, like they've been looking into ways to do cross-platform. So obviously they're gonna want to work with Nintendo on that kind of stuff, and I don't see Nintendo as the type of company that would be even willing to even get involved with that kind of thing. So I don't know. I would see a lot of problems coming with them bringing it over there, but I think, like you mentioned, like if they can stick to maybe local play, it'd be totally fine. I know there's like a season mode or something, so there is like stuff to do offline, but the whole thing with Rocket League is the competitive aspect of it. So whether they want to release a version that's strictly limited to local multiplayer, I don't know if they would want to, because I don't think that really fits the spirit of Rocket League. But
yeah,
I'd say I just thought it was funny because I follow Jeremy. Is it Durham or Dunham? It's Dunham because he's like Dunham Smash or something.
I think it's Dunham. Yeah.
Yeah. I follow him on Twitter.
Dunham, yeah.
Because he actually used to be the PR guy for
Zipper.
Yes, Zipper. Thank you. But he was the PR guy for Zipper Interactive, so he followed me on Twitter, and I followed him back, and he had said something last week about if I had a nickel for everyone who had asked me if we were looking into bringing this Rocket League to the Switch, I'd have a lot of nickels. So it's like, that sounds like a lot of people want Rocket League on the Switch. So I can totally see him doing it, though. It's obviously something people are really asking for, so hopefully there's a way to do it. Hopefully Nintendo has their together with their online play. So,
gotcha. Cool. Yes, we'll keep our eye on that. But after the fall, and that's one of the main things once again that I want to see out of Nintendo from the E3 conference, because it's so weird that we have a system that's out. It's out right now that we have in our living rooms, in our homes here. We have no idea how the online portion of it works. That's it's really strange. So they're gonna have to get that in order before Psyonix is gonna commit to that for sure, from what I can tell. All right, so let's move on from there. We're gonna finish up with some Xbox news, and this story I just saw started circulating before we started the show here, guys. But there's some talk that the Scorpio may be revealed this week, like this week coming up. Like by the time we do the next show, we could possibly know some more about the Scorpio. This is coming from Windows Central, which is obviously a well-known Microsoft Xbox site. Also saw Shinobi talking about this, so he was out there. From what he's heard, we could be hearing about the Scorpio this week as well. So Franklin, I ask you, is this? I don't want to. Not desperation is not the right word, but we've seen Nintendo in the headlines with Zelda, with the launch of the Switch. We've seen Sony in the headlines with all of these exclusive titles that they have had coming out, Horizon and all these other games that have come out on their platform. Microsoft's been kind of out of the spotlight for basically this entire year right now. So is this kind of them being like, look, we need to get out here, we need to get some of the attention back on our platform now? Is that kind of, you think, the impetus behind possibly talking about the Scorpio this week? Do you think that they're maybe, not necessarily that they're rushing into this, but do you think that this is when they want to announce this, or do you think their hands being forced? What are your thoughts on the fact that we might know about Project Scorpio this upcoming week?
I don't know that I would. I also don't think it would be desperation, but I do see him doing a reveal of the console before E3, like that. Absolutely, I could see happening because you've already revealed your console at E3. But the thing is, like when the Pro is coming out, when they're going to do that event, like we started hearing rumblings, like, oh, okay, there's this event happening. There hasn't been any of that with this. I would assume Microsoft, if they're bringing this thing out, they're going to want to make a lot of noise with it. So, if there was something coming up,
Sony sent out those invitations a couple weeks in advance. So people knew that it was coming up. Journalists knew where they were going, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just I know like with Shadow of War being announced, like that thing was the first we've really heard of that the Scorpio from anyone else, like publicly, like outside of Reddit or something. It's like the first Scorpio supporting title. So I don't know. I hope like I wouldn't be opposed to hearing about it this week because like the beginning of the year you had like Aaron Greenberg out there like, oh yeah, you're the Scorpio, and we haven't heard anything. Like the only like big news story with Microsoft was axing Scalebound. So
yeah, that obviously didn't go over too well. So
no. So I think like just looking at where they're at now, like announcing the system now, like I think I want to say when they announced the Xbox One, it was also in April. So it was
in May, if I remember correctly.
May? Okay.
It was a May event.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. 'Cause it's like 3 weeks before E3 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It was the last hurrah for Matrick.
Thank God. But yeah, I don't know whether it be them actually revealing it this week or announcing that they're going to be revealing it. I think like now is the time where if they're going to do anything before E3, now is the time.
May 21st, the Xbox One was originally unveiled. So, are you on board with it if they do it this next week? Would you prefer that they hold it off till May till we get closer to E3? Do you think that in a perfect world they would want to do it in May, and that maybe they're, like I was alluding to, their hands being forced now just with the way this year's been going? Or what do you think about that?
Maybe. I don't know. It's weird because like with this in particular, like they've already publicly announced it. Like we know about it. They've been talking about it. So maybe I think maybe waiting this long was crazy because I would have expected to hear more about it earlier this year when they started talking about it again. But I think too, like you mentioned, like coming off of, Sony has like all these exclusives that have come out this year, high Metacritic scores through the roof. The Nintendo Switch, like all this stuff is kind of finally starting to simmer down. So, maybe actually, like the more you think about it, like yeah, I mean, when your biggest headline was canceling a big exclusive game that people were super excited about, you want people to be excited for your brand, and maybe the sooner you get out there and actually show off the system when there isn't a whole lot going on. I'd maybe want to get that ball rolling sooner.
Yeah. Maybe we finish up the fiscal year here too. So the fiscal year's out of the way. Now we're getting into the next quarter, getting into a new fiscal year. Maybe get the investors excited about the year that's ahead.
Mm-hmm.
That could play a part in it as well as in terms of when they announce the system. Bender, what do you think about the idea that we might see the Scorpio this upcoming week? What do you think about some of the stuff we've talked about here? The time that this could be talked about. Like, is this a good time for them to reveal the system? Do you think their hands being forced at all? What do you think about all this stuff?
It's interesting with the timing. I mean, seems like it would be something they would just want to wait for E3 for, but I mean, you may be right about them wanting to try to get this out earlier just to get in people's good graces and get hype up and get people talking about it and get that buzz up about the Xbox brand again. So I mean, that may be a good call on their part. I don't know. Seems like I don't know. And like you said, the fiscal ending of the fiscal year, starting the next quarter. I mean, that's seems like a good time maybe to go ahead and put out that news.
We'll see if this upcoming week has the Scorpio revealed. Then we'll have a big show next week as we discuss everything that comes out of that. But yeah, I'm with you, Frankie. It seems like when they're ready to unveil the system, there would be more hoopla about it. There would be the invitations going out and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not sure if this is going to be the week or not.
Yeah, I feel they make a lot of noise when they're going to be announcing something like that. So
no, we shall see this upcoming week. All right, a couple more things we want to touch on here. The Xbox One S Minecraft bundle is now $249 while supplies last. So if you're in the market for that, get out there and look for one of those. And the Power Ranger skin pack, now available for Minecraft. Nice. So go and check that out. And you guys see the Power Rangers movie?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just saw it on Friday.
Thoughts?
I liked it. I thought it was good. I I felt like they could have become the Power Rangers or like earlier in the movie, because they didn't morph until like 30 minutes before the movie was over. Then they had kind of crammed all the action at the end.
Yeah.
But other than that, I thought it was cool. I liked the characters. I liked the actress who played them. I thought Elizabeth Banks was awesome and super creepy as Rita Repulsa. And
she was really creepy. Yeah.
And of course, Bryan Cranston, can't go wrong with him. He's a good actor.
Yeah.
So he was a good Zordon, and Bill Hader as Alpha 5 did a good job. So I thought it was pretty cool. It made me kind of nostalgic because I used to watch the old Power Rangers show at the original series when it first came on. So it was a pretty good movie.
Frankie?
Dude, I was sitting in my seat like pumping my fists when they got to Zords and like the old music started playing. It's like, yeah, this is awesome. So no, I liked it a lot. Like Bender said, I wish that either the movie was maybe a little longer with more fight scenes, but seeing the build up and kind of them bonding and just the way everything in that movie kind of fell together, the build up was really good. I just wish that there was more of the action element to it. So I know they're setting up stuff for a sequel that hopefully is able to get made. But it was a good time. I kind of went in with tempered expectations because I don't know, man. You start messing with like things from my childhood that I loved, and I get worried. So it was good. I was there's some cameos from the original cast in there, so that was really cool too. It was a good time. I'm glad I got to see it.
I don't wax nostalgically about the Power Rangers really. I watched them when I was a kid, but they were never like my go-to show or anything. So it's I took my kid to see it. They love the Power Rangers, so they couldn't wait to see this movie. So went and checked it out. It's it's an absurd movie. There's some goofy stuff in there, but it's a fun movie though. And if you're a fan of the Power Rangers, I think you're really gonna dig it probably. So I had a good time watching it. Can't complain about it. Yeah. So the Power Ranger skin pack available for Minecraft now, so go and check that out. The Hunter Call of the Wild making its way over from the PC to consoles this year. That'll be coming to both Xbox One and PS4. So if you want to get out and hunt some deer and do all that kind of stuff, you can do so in a big open world setting. There's some adjustments coming to Gears of War 4 multiplayer. They got some seasons coming up soon where you'll be able to rank, move your way up the ladder, win some rewards for your characters, skins, that kind of stuff. Sounds pretty cool. So if you're playing Gears of War 4 multiplayer, be on the lookout for that. And IDW Comics now has an app on the Xbox One that you can get on there and try out now. Just get in there and read some of their books. They've got some good stuff in their stable.
Did they? Did they do the Batman Ninja Turtle crossover? Is that them?
I believe so. Ninja Turtles is an IDW property when it comes to comic books, so they probably handled the Batman Turtles crossover. DC may have done a few issues of that as well, but yeah, I'd imagine IDW probably did some of those, if not all of them. So that app's on the Xbox One now, so that's pretty cool. I'd like to see more comic book apps on some of these consoles. So that's going to do it for the Xbox Bulletins. That's going to do it for the news. There's one special thing I want to mention, though, before we get out of here, and that's StarCraft Remastered. It's coming this summer. I know we don't typically cover PC games on this podcast, but I love StarCraft. It's a great game. It's one of the only real-time strategy games I've ever gotten into. And StarCraft Remastered coming this summer. It includes StarCraft and its expansion, Brood War. You'll be able to play it in 4K on your PC, all that good stuff. So be on the lookout for that. If you are at all a fan of real-time strategy games, StarCraft is awesome. One of the best ones to ever do it. So be on the lookout for that. So shouts out to StarCraft. It's a sweet game. Fellas, that's going to do it for the show. We're all wrapped up. A lot of good stuff to talk about. Obviously, Destiny, the big thing on my mind and many of our minds at this point. So can't wait to see where we go from here with Destiny 2. Franklin, tell the people where we can find you.
You can find me on Xbox Live, PlayStation Network, Twitter, some form of Nintendo Network at Viperstrike, VYPRSTRYKE.
Got that friend code handy on you yet?
There's a 5 in there and a 0. That's all I remember.
There's a 9er in there.
It's a 9er.
Calling from a walkie-talkie.
Bender, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Bender_guitar. I'm on PlayStation Network and Nintendo Network at me_Bender, and on Xbox Live at mebender82.
As always, I'll be not tweeting at Piccolo930. It's my PSN ID. That's where also you can find me on the Nintendo Switch at Piccolo930. I do not know my friend code. One of these days, I'll write it down or take a photo of it or something and remember to bring it on here for the show. But today is not that day. You can follow the website. It's www.shortpause.com. We're on Twitter at the Shortpause. You can follow all the goings-on with us there. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. We're on iTunes, SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, and Google Play now. So basically any podcast service that you'd want to find us on, you can find us there. If you like this podcast, if you really like this podcast, go on to iTunes, give us a 5-star rating. If you're not quite ready to give us a 5-star rating, hop on into the comments of the post here. Tell us your thoughts. Give us your criticism, your comments, all that kind of stuff. We want to continue to work on the show, continue to make it the best show we can possibly make it for you guys out there. Email us, podcast@shortpause.com. So questions, comments, concerns, we'll read your stuff on the show. Anything that's on your mind, let us know. We want to talk some games with you guys. We want to hear from you. We want to make sure that the show is everything that you want it to be. Short Pause Gaming, you can find us there on YouTube, on Twitch. We're on Short Pause Live, so twitch.tv/shortpauselive. The Tuesday night Indie Spotlight will be found on our YouTube page, of course. It's live Tuesday, 10 p.m. Eastern. We'll fire up, maybe Blackwood Crossing this week. Maybe we'll go back and grab another title. It's to be determined. Keep an eye on our Twitter and whatnot. We'll let you know what we're going to be streaming on there. So yeah, make sure you're subscribing and following us on there. And we're on Facebook and Beam and anywhere you can stream. You can find Short Pause Gaming on there. So just look us up. Make sure you're subscribed to all of our channels there, so you can always keep up with what we're doing.
I also just want to give a quick shout out to our friend JD. He obviously joins Bender and I for Playing by the High Rules. Those of you who also check out his Play and Listen Gaming podcast, he actually has an interview that just went up this week with I think it's the music's Hero of Time. It's a Zelda inspired soundtrack. But JD actually got an interview with the producer and arranger of that. So if you're kind of curious how that stuff happens, like all the soundtrack stuff goes on, JD's all excited about this interview that just went up live this morning over on the Play and Listen SoundCloud, iTunes. So if you're listening to his show, check out that interview. Can't wait to jump in and listen to that thing tomorrow. So just want to give a quick shout out to you, JD. Love you, man.
Cool. All right, that's gonna do it for us. For Frankie, for Bender, I'm Ben. We'll see you guys next week. Brent will be back. Thanks for listening. Have a good week. We'll talk to you guys later.
Good night.
Adios.
Bye-bye.